Okay. What's going on, family? Give me 1 second. Let's get this right. Right. We are live. Just give me 1 second. Okay, it's going to give a second for a few more people to come in. And then we're going to go in tonight. All right, let's see where we at. All right. Okay, give me another second. Another second, family. Let's get this situated. Okay. All right. Shalom to the family coming in. Shout out to Shema, Austin, Minister Maccabi, Jediah, Derek. What's going on, family? Make sure you share this video. Hit the thumbs up. All right. And we will get started shortly. All right. Let's see. All right, let me just share this link and then we should be good to go. All right, those of you coming in, make sure you share this link. All right. All right. Give me another second, families. Give me another second. Let me get this. Okay, I think it should be good. All right. Okay, I think we should be good. All right. So shout out to Ron Issa in the building, Sharon Hammonds in the building, Big Main, Yao Over Money, Endurance Pie, Valerie Romo, Mr. Blacktastic. Sam Bone, what's going on? Katriel Ben Israel, what's going on? What's going on? We're about to go in, man. I mean, this wasn't even what I had scheduled, but I mean, since it's on the table, we're going to deal with it. Typically, as y'all know, shout out to my brother Seth in the building. As y'all know, I like to put thought-provoking posts that leads to critical thinking, and pretty much gets the people to defining a problem, formulating a process to get to a hypothesis, and after proving and disproving your hypothesis, take a course to lead you to your final end product, which is your conclusion that you can then disseminate, right? And that would be, then you formulate your thesis from there, which would be a statement of fact based on the process. And I like to throw some things out there just so that people can start getting the creative juices flowing, so that way they can think critically. All right. I never encourage people to just believe anything that I say. You know, as you know, here we always are challenging things, not for the sake of challenge it or for the sake of contention, but just ensure that any presuppositions that we might have can be verified and validated. Because if it can't, then we just believe in off of blind faith, right? And the Israelite culture is not founded on blind faith. Okay. Shout out to my brother Sidney Woods in the building, Meek Wiley. What's going on? John Totten. What's going on, Sister E, Truth Seeker? What's going on, sis? Make sure you share this video, family. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. So we'll go over a couple of formal things, and then we're going to transition and move our way over to the subject matter. Today, we're going to be talking about tithing. And again, this was not planned, but I decided let me do it since it's on the table because of what I posted in the community tab on here, what I posted on Instagram and on Facebook. It got a lot of hype behind it, a lot of shares, a lot of people interested in it. So I said, okay, I'll touch on it because a couple people had asked me to dive into it on a live stream. So I said I would. And then we're going to transition from there. I'm going to talk about the Queen Mother position, right? Which is Gebirah. So we're going to talk about Gebirah. Let's see what Gebirah is and why that Queen Mother status. And Queen Mother is like, I don't really like that term. That's what it's called in academia. I prefer the feminine mighty one, right? That's better rendered if we're looking at it mechanically from the language. Just like you have the word gabar, gebir, you have gebirah, right? And that's the feminine suffix that's added to the masculine noun and gives you the feminine element of that masculine noun. And we see that show up in the book of Bereshit, which is interesting. I may touch on a little bit of that. Also, I have a show coming up on Sinetta's platform. You know, I know some people say, oh, why are you going on Sinetta's platform? Some people, they're okay with it because our people are watching that, right? The last couple of times on there, I had maybe about 30-something people reach out to me since they seen me last on that platform. And I would say more than half of them are interested in the Israelite walk, right? So it has its benefits. But this time, Sanetta is going to have a Israelite sister on there that's going to be co-hosting with him. And we're going to be talking about a couple of things. And then I'm going to get into a small portion at the end of it in regards to the role of the woman in ancient Israel. So what tends to happen is that this concept of misogyny is really pushed by the feminist movement of the 20th century, right? And the issue is that because of a generally patriarchal society, I say generally, because there was a lot of exceptions, but generally in a patriarchal society, you would have the subjugation of a woman. So that term submission would be kind of relative on how you define it, but it has its mechanical meaning, which you'll see in a lexicon, and then how it's applied will give it its connotation, depending upon the context, right? But I think the issue is there's a lot of misconceptions of of the role of a woman in the scriptures, which again just paints some of the backdrop of ancient Israel, but then you got to marry that with archaeology, right? That's your and anthropology, that's your human sciences, and then the scriptures will fall under your sciences of humanity, right? Where you deal with language and religion and things of that nature. And then you got to marry those two, right? Your material culture, your non-material culture, wedge them in, and then take that whole and place it against the backdrop of the ancient Near East. And that's the problem. When you are not combing through all of the literature that exists in the ancient Near East, because the Israelites did not live in a vacuum, and put things within its proper context. That's the only way you'll be able to know for certain what the role of women are, right? And there was a lot of different varieties of interpretation and what the role of a woman is, right? Whether it's the commoner or if she's of elite status, and you know what roles that they played, what leverages that they had, and things of that nature. It's very intriguing study. I'm gonna give you guys some books before we leave off of here. But if you're interested in getting these books for free, you can join our Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. If you join our Patreon, we put these books up, at least 2 or 3 books every week, that you guys can click on a link and you'll take you to a cloud folder of mine, and it has all my books in there for you guys to read, download, or whatever you want to do with them. So a lot of things that I show on here, we have it in that cloud folder that you can download for free. Otherwise, you can purchase the ebook online, like I've done in some instances, or you can purchase the physical book. But if you want to get access to all of these books for free, a lot of the references that I've mentioned, we're filling up that folder with all of these books from my library. My library has almost 1,000 books. My library has almost 1,000 books, and it's not just Israelite stuff. A good portion, I would say maybe about 60% of it is Israelite stuff, right? So that'd be like 500 books. The rest of it is like for other types of topics and subjects, you know, that deals with anything from political science to health, to programming, if you're into IT, and just a variety of different things. Okay. Psychology and things that are along those lines, microbiology, immunology, virology. So I have tons of books just in general. My digital library is about 1,000 books. But the Israelite stuff is about 400 or 500 books on Israelite stuff. So we're just filling up that folder with books for everybody who has subscribed to our pledge on our Patreon, because they're investing money every month into this ministry. So we want to make sure that we give them something tangible back besides the other things that we do. Okay. So that's what that's there for. I'm going to go ahead and drop that there. There's a link right there for the Patreon. You can pledge whatever you want. We recommend you pledge 10, 20, or 50, but you can give $5, you can give $100, you can give $1,000, you can give $1 million. It's up to you, right? We don't pressure anybody to give a particular amount. Whatever they move to give, we're grateful for it, right? And in return, we give giveaways. You know, you have benefits for the tiers, the groups that you are in tiers, you got benefits in there. And then you get access to the library of all of these books that I'm talking about, as well as other things that we have going on. We have the bill paid in full giveaway that we do. We have a small business investment one that we're going to start doing going forward. I want to touch on that tonight, but I'll probably wait. Monday, we're going to have a live stream. And what I'm going to do for Monday's session is we're going to talk about the Passover and unleavened bread. I'm going to get into that because there's some people reaching out to me wanting to know, like, how, like, according to the pre-Israelite culture, like, how do we do this thing, right? That's distinct from Second Temple Judaism. So we're going to go into the cedar of Second Temple Judaism, and as it has developed that we find in Ashkenazim, Sephardic, and Mizrahi circles, and we're going to deal with that. And then we also going to go into how we calculate the Passover and unleavened bread, and then what cedar or rituals that we perform, right? In regards to that. So I'm definitely going to do that live stream on Monday. So make sure you're tuning in on Monday so we can go into depth about that, so you guys can understand what that's about. The calendar that I was working on, the digital calendar, we're still working on it. I only have a couple of images. I still have the artist working on the images, but as far as the actual calendar itself, that is, I would say, maybe about 90% complete. Just need a couple of tweaks. And then again, we'll make that available. If you want to purchase it, there's a small donation that we request because we put a lot of effort into putting it together. And again, I'll advertise that once we go live with it. But again, it's a charity donation because we create these products and these things so we can raise money to give back, right? So, a lot of it is really not for profit. It's really so that we can take those funds and use it in some way, shape, or form to give back tangibly to the community or virtually to you guys, right? And then later on, we're going to have the physical calendar created, and you guys can purchase that as well. The website will be back up very soon. Okay, very soon. I got a web designer, and if anybody any other web designers or graphic artists, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. We are always looking for talent. We always want to get paid talent. We want to make sure you get paid for your hard work. Some people say, no, I just want to volunteer my services for the kingdom. Listen, I'm okay with that, but I'm also okay with compensating that person for their time, especially if they do great work. All right, the email address is right there. If you guys have any talents in regards to being a graphic artist, a video editor, web designer, email us because we're looking for talent. Also, if you need assistance, now we helped about 10 more individuals financially. We helped about 10 more individuals because of the GoFundMe that we have. I'm gonna show on the screen in 1 second. But if anybody out there, they need any money, any funds to sustain themselves throughout this economic crisis, the email is right there. Email us and let us know. We'll vet it out and screen you a bit, and then we'll send you some funds to help you out. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and show you guys real quick. I want to show you some of the books that we have here on the Patreon so you guys can take a look at it and see the book suggestions that we put out recently. I'm going to try to add one on this topic that we're talking about right now, but let me go ahead and show this to y'all real quick so you guys can see some of these suggestions here. Let me throw it up on the screen real quick. Right, so this here, some of the book suggestions that we have up now. This one here, excellent book. I'm gonna show you all this in 1 second. It's called The Cultural World of the Bible. Great book. Remember I told you about that cultural backgrounds book that I have referenced to y'all, and I tell you guys everybody needs this in their library. You need this book as well, The Cultural World of the Bible. See, the reason why I recommend these books is because they give you an objective background of Israelite culture against the ancient Near Eastern context. And if you don't understand culture, nothing else in the text makes sense. You can't interpret prophecy. You can't forge doctrine if you don't understand culture. So any resource that is good to get you rooted and grounded and anchored into culture where everything else springs out from is what I recommend. So you guys need to get this book. But if you sign up for our Patreon, you get this book for free. Get access to it free. You can download it for free, whatever you want to do. The other one we got is an excellent book that I'm rereading. This book is wonderful, man. It's called Lesser Deities in the Ugaritic Text and the Hebrew Bible. This is an excellent book. Excellent book right here. Hold on, let's go back. Excellent book right here. I meant to bring it up. I can't actually bring it up like that, but hold on, give me 1 second. But I'm gonna show this book to y'all too. If you're interested, hit 1 and I'll show you this book. But this book is good if you want to get more background on what's called the Divine Council. Okay. The other one we have here is books. The book suggestion is called Women in the Ancient Near East. That's an excellent book. And there's another book I'm going to mention on here that we're going to add as well, dealing with women in ancient Israel and Ugarit, right? I'm gonna bring that up. But these books right here, these are excellent reads. I mean, you will not go wrong from looking at these books. But again, I'll show some of them for you guys on this live stream as we move forward so that if you're interested, you guys can go buy it if you want, or you can just pledge and get all these books weekly. We release at least 2 or 3 books or more every week, right? So you guys can get familiar with the content that I'm reading to produce the stuff that I speak about on this channel. All right. Again, the link is there for the Patreon. So make sure you guys sign up for the Patreon if you can. Everything that you give to there go towards the ministry as a whole and helps us to sustain the various giveaways that we do, as well as the benefits that we give out, as well as helping other individuals in the community, right? So the link is right there. You guys can click on that and join up. And don't forget, we still have our GoFundMe that is up because we're still raising money. Again, thank you to everybody that has already donated. we have helped total 24 different people. Some are families, some are single individuals. We've helped a lot of people based on a donation that you guys have given. So let me go ahead and share that with you guys as well. Right. So this is the GoFundMe right here. OK, it's COVID-19 quarantine support for civilian survivors. OK, and we have several updates on here from people that we have recently assisted. All right. So I'm gonna drop that link also on the chat in case you guys do want to give. There it is right there. Let me blow it up. This is super small. There we go. All right. So in case you guys are interested in wanting to give for a cause, because you physically can't go out and do much to help people. I mean, we give you the opportunity to do so right here. Don't forget, we have our Facebook group right here, right? Coronavirus COVID-19 quarantine support for civilian survivors. Same name, type it into Facebook, join the group. We give you the latest updates in regards to this coronavirus pandemic crisis that's going on, as well as resources and other material to read, etc. All right. So shout out to everybody that donated. Right now, we have $5,980 we raised. Our goal is $20,000. So with that money, we've helped 24 different families because of the donation that you guys have given. OK. And we have maybe about two or three more that's pending. Right. So, man, everybody I gave, man, we've done an excellent job so far helping out the community. Like I said, I have these testimonials up here. And the reason why I do that is because some people may think, oh, you're not really giving the money out to the people. OK, well, these people are right here. You can go and reach out to them and ask them if they've received funding from us. Right. And I say that because, we have trolls once in a while that come on and troll. And I wanted to actually talk about that tonight, but I'm going to reserve that for another live stream because tonight I want to get on those two things. But what I'm saying is, so I have these testimonials so people can see people that are actually the recipients of what it is that we're giving. Now, never mind the people who are criticizing are not even donating to this, right? They're not even supporting it. They're just trying to look for a flaw. You know what I'm saying? So they're not looking at the giveaways that I've done for free. They're not looking at the gift cards I gave away for free. They're not looking about the people that we've been helping financially before we started the GoFundMe that we've been giving money away for. They're not looking for the investments in businesses that we're doing, providing employment for the community, right? They're not looking at these things, right? The sacrifices that we make, the information that we get on here, the proactivism we've done in regards to educational choices for school, dealing with vaccines in regards to the health element, the consultations that we give for free. We do free assessments and consultations for health and for credit repair. You're not factoring none of these things, and we're not even charging for the free portion of it because it's being paid for the monies that we're raising. So it's like people just want to come and critique because they just want to find something wrong. Right now, we recently had used some of these funds to patronize a small Black business that is going through some hardships because of the coronavirus pandemic that has financially impacted the community. So we decided we're going to take a little bit of these funds, $150, and we're going to invest it into that business. And that's exactly what we did. Right. And somebody still had an issue with that. It's crazy that the people who are criticizing are not even the ones donating or supporting. They're just here lurking, finding something wrong so that way they can scream foul play. Right. And it's unfortunate. But there's hundreds of people that can testify of all the things that we've done. So what I've asked the people who donate, said, look, if you feel comfortable enough, please leave an update so we can add it to the page so that people can see that there's real people with real stories, real backgrounds that we're helping out. And these are the people that you can physically see and read their testimony that you've helped contributed to. Now some people are shy, they don't want their personal business out there, so they have not added anything. But these are the brave souls that decided that they wanted to add their small testimonial of giving thanks, right, to you guys for donating. So we do that because we have naysayers. So the naysayers are now physically seeing that there's people there. And if they reach out to them, they will tell them, yeah, we received money and they've helped us. Right. It's crazy that you have to go through these extents because people have this mindset that, all people in the Black community that's trying to do some good is doing something nefarious. It's ridiculous, man. It's truly ridiculous. Right. But nonetheless, thank you to everybody who's donated already. Again, if you guys continue wanting doing it, you can do so here and make the haters mad, because the haters are going to get mad. The more that they see this goal going up, they get mad. They get angry. Like, oh, people donating to this. Yeah, they're donating to this. You know why? Because they're not doing anything. So if they see that somebody is doing something that they're not doing, it's going to make them envious. It's going to make them jealous. And then they're going to sabotage it. That's what they do. All right. But guess what? They didn't set this up. This has nothing to do with them. This is from the divine. So they can't interrupt or do anything. Right. All they're going to do by attacking it is allow it to grow. So they can continue to hate all they want. And these same people have no works being shown that they're doing in the community at all, but want to critique everybody else. That beam is like this in their eye, and they try to look for a speck in yours. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's all good. It's all good. So anyway, with that being said, family, I want to shout out to Benjamin Dyer Wolf in the building. Chief Mike, what's going on? Ringo Mandingo, what's up? What's up? Hoshea Ben Yahawada, what's going on, my brother? John Williams, Yehoshua Shamar, Donnell Jones, Seven Lights Photo, channel number 5, Dwayne Yosef, Yapa Kalaya, Kimberly M, Kendrick Black. Y'all say 1. Okay, cool. Okay, I got y'all. No problem. All right. Shouts from my brother O'Shea White. All right. So with that being said, again, if you guys want to give, here's a way to do so. Make the haters mad. Let's give and help more families that are struggling. All right. So that way we can do something. Everybody is not going to get a stimulus check, right? Because they do not qualify. And it's crazy because some of these people are actually like really suffering, right? So that's why we teach about autonomy, self-governing. So we got to take it upon ourselves, obligate ourselves to help those that are the less fortunate, because those are Torah principles, and Torah is the root and foundation of our culture. It tells you to take care after the poor, after the fatherless, after the widows, after the strangers. We must take care of these individuals. Those who are oppressed, we must speak up on their behalf. We must give a form of provision to these people. So even if we never got a stimulus check, everybody that has given, so we can distribute evenly to those who have need, so we could be of one mind and we could be of one focus, and we can go and get this truth out to the community. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why we continue to push this culture, community, autonomy thing. And we've been doing this way before this thing went down. And we were telling people this is why we need to get KHM chapters everywhere. Because then if something goes awry, you can go right to that safe haven and you can get the provision that you need. And that's what we was attempting to do this year. But guess what? This pandemic coronavirus thing came about, and now all travel has been suspended, and it's crazy. Now we can't even socially gather and everything like that. So it's interfered with the wave or the blitz that we was going to do on cities this year and light them up with KHM. You understand what I'm saying? So that way, when these things happen, we could just be chilling like, oh, okay, yeah, people are sick. Yeah, we got the health thing going on over here, right? Or we got the little gardens that we got in our background. We ain't worried about that. Oh, there's economic crisis. Yeah, let's go to the KHM chapter, and they've raised all these funds. So let's go ahead and get those funds out the storehouse and make sure everybody has a need. Yeah, that's what we're doing. But obviously all this stuff happened, so it slowed us down, but it didn't stop anything. All right, with that said, family, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you share this video. If you're brand new, hit that subscribe button as we about to go in. All right, so now before we go in, I want to continue to give a shout out to my brother who created this excellent board game, The Truth of Yah Volume 1, Renew Minds, Save Lives. This is an excellent board game. If you are an Israelite, you need to have this board game, because a lot of y'all on a stay-at-home orders or shelter-in-place orders, you guys need to support this right here. You need to support this right here, all right? This is somebody in our community that sat down, looked at the board game industry and decided, hey, why don't we have something there? This is autonomy. Right? Autonomy is we're self-governing, taking care of our own affairs, we're self-sufficient, and we can entertain ourselves, and we don't have to get anything from the secular realm to do so. So we need to support our own. The link is in the description. If you want to get this, you can put in my referral code DPROSPECT, capital DPROSPECT, and you will get 30% off of the cost. 30% off of the cost. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link in the description for you guys. Again, we're finding ways to support our own, and this is what we're going to do, right? Support our own, and we're going to continuously support our own. So let me go ahead and put the link in the description for you, those of y'all who are interested in purchasing that. And remember, the referral code is DPROSPECT, All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in here real quick. All right, Hebrew Lawaya says, I've never seen nothing like that board game, right? Yeah, and you're not gonna see it because it's direct sales, right? So you got to get it directly from that website right there. I just put it in the link, so please click on that, and please, if you can, go ahead and make a purchase. But before you do, make sure you utilize this referral code right here, and you will get 30% off of the already discounted price. Okay. And again, every Israelite should have that board game. There's no excuses for you not to have it. A lot of us are already on stay-at-home order, shelter in place. We need things to go. Some of y'all actually went out and got some secular board games. Yeah, I know. I seen those Facebook posts and those Instagram posts. I seen, but y'all ain't supporting somebody in our community. Okay. I'm just saying. All right. So also, if we're going to talk about along the lines of supporting our community right now, because of this coronavirus outbreak, you know, we got the people wearing these fashionable masks. Well, we need to do so of supporting our own. So here's the link right here. The link is right there in the chat. Please, I want to go ahead and show you this, guys, on the screen. I need you guys to support this right here. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. All right. It's called the Flatten the Curve Fashion Mask. Okay, so anybody that's a medical worker, a first responder, essential worker, and you out there in the streets, you need to get your protection. If you're going to buy it, you need to buy it from our community. Okay, so this is it right here. All right, it's only $15. All right, you get the Flatten the Curve Fashion Mask. These are the different designs, right? That's here. You even have the one here for kids. We got the dinosaurs here for kids. All right, and we have different design patterns, as you can see here. Is another selection of the different ones that we have. We also going to have essential oil infused filters in here, because I've talked about this before. I talked about the antimicrobial properties of essential oils. And what we're doing that we're not seeing nobody else do is we're infusing the filters with essential oil. And there's a little slit that's in the mask that you can slide the filter in. And that way, as the bacteria or virus is coming towards your direction, you have the antimicrobial properties of the essential oils that will kill them off, as opposed to them just lingering there and collecting there. Now we are able to actually kill them on site, right? And you're not going to find this anywhere. So y'all need to get 5, 10, 100 of these masks, or send your friends, your family, first responders, essential workers to this site. The link is in the chat, and get this mask from somebody in our community that's taken her time to put this together for us. We had to look at it and said, what can we do differently? And, you know, we created a way to make this unique, right? So again, make sure you guys order your Flatten the Curve fashion mask. Okay, it's not only fashionable and representing your culture and that you got it from a fellow Israelite, but also it's functional, 100% functional. We've infused it the way nobody else has done yet. We have not seen this yet. But then after this, I'm sure a million people is going to try to bite off of this, but you guys heard it first. All right. So please support our own. Again, the link is in the chat. Make sure you guys go out and purchase you several of these to support our community. This is what they don't want. They don't want us to be the suppliers for the needs in our community. They want us to continuously rely on the government, third-party entities, corporations. They don't want us relying on each other, because the more that we do that, the less that we need them for. When you do that's true revolution. And until you can sustain your own, you can't even start a revolution, because after you overturn things, then how are you going to support and sustain it? You got to think this thing far along. You got to get this root work part done first. Are we doing that? Are we doing that, family? Are we doing that? All right. So make sure you click the link. Make sure you purchase your Flatten the Curve face mask. And let's be if we got to be on the front lines, you got to go to work. There's truckers out there that I know that want these masks. There's a link right there. There's first responders that I know who work for police departments and fire departments, because we got Israelites everywhere, right? There's those of you who are medical workers that are in the hospitals, the clinics. If you're going to purchase something that's going to save your life and allow you to perform your duties at 100% capacity without getting sick, you have to get these Flatten the Curve face masks. You cannot beat this anywhere else. And you can feel good knowing that you're putting the money back into your community, because in the Black community, what we call the Israelite community, the dollar only circulates 4 to 6 hours. That's it. 4 to 6 hours. And then it goes out the community. That's ridiculous. I'm giving you ways that you can put it back into the community. I showed you my Patreon. You know what we're doing as a ministry. The GoFundMe. You know what we're doing, giving money back to help people out. The board game, the face mask. We need to support our own family. And I'm going to give you one more shout out that I'm going to give. Okay. One more shout out I'm going to give real quick. Right. And if you guys have a business, if you have a nonprofit, if you sell products, if you have services, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com, kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. Okay. And when you email us, all right, tell us what business you got, what product you have, and we'll help to give you a shout out. Okay. But let me give you one more shout out real quick. All right. And the name of this site is called Mr. E's Remedies, Mr. E's Remedies. So if you guys are interested in looking for supplements, health supplements, right? They got muscle builders, fat burners, vitamins and minerals, and miscellaneous. I like the vitamins and minerals section that they have here, right? They got an energizer formula. They got the Metabo Boost right here, Thermogen. They have the colon cleanse, the pancreas aid. All right. So if you guys want to get well, let me blow that up. It looks kind of small. So if you guys want to put the money back into the community and purchase products in the community, I've dropped the link right there. Is MrEsRemedies.com. All right, let's support our own. This brother's put in his hard work, time, and effort in creating the supplements for our community to keep us healthy. And I also show you the sister creating the face mask to keep us healthy. And then while you're indoors, with your stay-at-home order, your shelter-in-place orders, we got an Israelite that has created a board game. So we've covered all bases and more, okay? Some of y'all getting these stimulus checks, right? And these additional funding you're getting for the federal government on top of the state unemployment, right? Hey, if you guys got a couple of dollars left over, make sure you take care of all your needs first. If you have a couple of dollars left over, invest it over here. It's not about tithes. I'm not telling you give 10% and then give an offering and then say, oh, we got a coronavirus fund that we need the church to give into. We're not doing that. We're telling everybody to give what you can give. It's very simple. Whatever you compelled to give, don't do without a coercion. We're not forcing anybody to give anything. We're just saying if you want to patronize your community, this is the way that you can do it. We will be the vicarious conduit for you to funnel things back into the community. Because one day you're going to need support if you're on tough times or if you're trying to start a small business, and we will be here to give to you. Okay. So again, Mr. E's Remedies, you see it right up here. Please go and support as well. The link is in the chat. We have all bases covered as a community, and we want to let you guys know that we are here to help. And once we have KHM in every city, we're going to tell you guys if you need help, email kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. We're going to point you to the KHM chapter, and they will take care of you from there. All right. That's what we're looking to do. We're trying to get at least 50 cities in the next 3 years, 50 to 60 cities in the next 3 years. So we're trying to go hard. We're not playing with this because we see what's going on and what's coming on down the pike. And in this situation already showed that we're not prepared, but KHM will get you prepared. And you probably asking, well, how is KHM going to get us prepared? Okay. Well, let me go ahead and let me show you how KHM is going to get you prepared. I'm going to go ahead and drop the video in here for you guys. You can go back and check it out if you guys have not already seen it. All right, this is what we did this year in February when we set up our KHM Orlando chapter. All right, I did a presentation out there to explain people what KHM is about if they wanted to join the organization. And now I'm going to put the link up here for you guys who may not be familiar with it. And I'm going to show you guys how we are preparing the community for these times. This is before things went to heck. All right, Virtue, if you're interested in diabetics, information regarding diabetics, email us at naturalpathtoeden@gmail.com. All right, that's what we do our health consultation services. We do it right through there. We give you free assessment, free consultation. And if you want us to set you up on a regimen, 30, 60, 90-day regimen, then we can hook you up with that. All right. And also, if anybody's looking for employment, email us at naturalpathtoeden@gmail.com. If you need a side hustle or if you need a primary hustle and you're into health and you want to make a little bit of money, join up. And what we do, once you sign up, we give you $10 just for signing up. You invest no money in signing up for us. We don't need your resume or nothing like that. We just need a willingness to get the job done. That's it. And then we have our credit repair and debt elimination services on the Jubilee manumission@gmail.com. And again, all of these services, as you can see by the names of the services, are rooted in Israelite culture. We've created services out of Israelite culture. Okay. And if you need, help with getting your credit repaired, debt eliminated, email us at jubileemaymission@gmail.com. And or if you need work, if you need a side hustle or primary hustle, you can work this as big and as small as you want. We give you $10 just for signing up. If you join a referral program where you just want to get a referral code and give it to people who then can contact us for the assessment and consultation and everything else, you get 25% commission off of that after we give you $10 for signing up. If you want to be a consultant, we give you $20 for signing up. We deposit money in your bank just for signing up. No job does that. They give you money to start working with them. Well, where they do that at? At the church, you give everything for free. At the church, we don't run you like that. We invest in you because we know that you're going to invest back into us. All right. And if you want to be a consultant, you get a $20 deposit. And guess what? As a consultant, you get 50% commission for paid services that clients buy into. People say, I want to be part of KHM. It's a $50 dues. Every member pays a $50 membership dues, right? That keeps things going for the physical chapter, right? Guess what? If you don't have the money to pay the dues, all you got to do is just send your referral code to maybe 20, 30 people or find a way to advertise it on social media. And then once you get enough people to buy into the paid services, there's your monthly membership dues right there. And you got some extra cash in your pocket and you never put up one dime to start off with this at all. You didn't have to show your resume. You didn't have to get a background check. You didn't have to do none of that. It's that simple, family. And a lot of us are already at home. So if you need assistance with our services and or employment, we got you. We got it right up there. Natural Path to Eden at gmail.com and jubileemaymission@gmail.com. So the haters continue to hate, but which I'm trying to find out how you guys helping out everybody right now. You got services like real essential services. Health is an essential service, especially right now. And credit repair and debt elimination is an essential service. You guys have got essential services. Do you guys have employment programs? You got people working and you paying them to start the work with you? Are you giving them 25 to 50% commission off of the hard work that they do? Are you guys employing people? Oh, okay. Do you guys have a GoFundMe at raising money to just give away to people in need? Are you guys doing that? Oh, you're not doing that. All right. But you're hating everything we're doing over here. Okay. Wow. That's interesting. That book that I showed up there, the Lesser Deities and the Ugaritic text and Hebrew Bible, that book is $120 on Amazon. We allow you to read it for free when you sign up for our Patreon. You can pledge anything from $1 to $1 million on our Patreon. You get to access that for free. And all you do is giving a little bit of money every month to support the ministry. And not only that, we give giveaways. We just paid somebody's bill. We just invested in a business. Like, we're doing things that I don't see the haters doing at all. And it's crazy. It's crazy because they want to find flaws because they're not doing anything. And it's unfortunate, but it's okay. It's okay. Shout out to Gartrell McKinney. Thank you, my brother, for that large donation. We truly appreciate that, my brother. Thank you for that sacrifice because I know this is an economic crisis going on. And this brother just invested a good amount of money into this ministry. So shout out to you, my brother. Everybody else that shared this video already that support the ministry. Thank you guys for all of that. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. So make sure you hit that thumbs up, family. Hit that thumbs up. If you're brand new, hit subscribe. Like I said, we showed you face masks, we showed you supplements, and we showed you a board game. All three things that are necessary that you need right now. That's essential for right now. We're not giving you hope and prayer and just throwing things in the air. No. We're saying if you want employment, we got jobs. If you need essential services, we're providing that. If you need money because you're coming on tough times, email us. Where are they doing this at? Where else are they doing this at? Come on, we are a very small ministry and we're doing what we can. So where the haters talking all this craziness? And a lot of them are Christian apologists. Don't think nobody in the Israelite community is actually doing something for the Israelite community. It's sad. It's sad. They think everybody has some kind of predatory nature. No, everybody's not like that. Everybody is not like that. Some people actually care for the people. Okay. Let's transition, family. Before I keep going in. All right. Let me ease off on that. All right. Let's get into this tithing thing, man. All right. Because I really didn't want to deal with this, but we about to go. Shout out to Christian Mayfield in the building. I owe you a call, my brother. I definitely owe you a call. Shout out to who was that? I just saw OG Hebrew, Gatherer of Nations, King David, the lucid fire. What's going on? He said the board game isn't necessary. It's necessary if you're stuck in your house and you need something to keep your mind going, focus on the culture. Yeah, it's necessary. If you got kids in the home and you want to get them into the culture, here's a board game. It's a way to do it. It's essential for right now. A lot of people are staying at home. A lot of people are sheltered in place. So it is essential for right now. But you know, a lot of people are doing jumping to TikTok. Is TikTok essential? I don't know, but people are going there. They're flocking to TikTok. I'm not saying anything is wrong with TikTok, but I'm saying if you can put your creative mind into putting something together for TikTok, you can purchase this board game and play it at home as well. There's no excuses for that. You feel what I'm saying? So this is necessary. This is essential, okay? Because it helps you to study. So King David, you must not have this board game for you to make a comment like that. Why don't you buy the board game? You get 30% off with my code, DPROSPECT, and see it for yourself. That's all. You can look it up, The Truth of Yah. Look up the board game. We got the videos and everything online. Check it out. All right? Facts, Dwayne, facts. All right? So anyway, let's transition to the tithes, because I got some Christians up in here, and I know we're gonna drop like 20 or 30 viewers once I start going in, because we go in here and we do it respectfully, tactfully, but we go in. And I didn't want to do this today, but let me go ahead and show you guys this post that I made on the community section of YouTube, also on Instagram, also on Facebook. Let me pull it up for y'all real quick so you guys can see the basis of what I'm about to say right now. So give me a second. And again, everything that I had mentioned to you guys, the Patreon, the GoFundMe, the face mask, the board game, the remedies, all of that is going to be there in the description. You guys can click on it, and from there you guys can patronize. Okay, but let's go in here. Let's see what started all of this. All right, because when I'm going through stuff, I like to share things with the community, right? So let me go ahead and show you guys what's going on right here. Let me show you guys what's going on right here. Let me bring it up on the screen. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right. So right here, I did this post. I said, can somebody show me which church collecting tithes actually abides by these scriptures? I had Deuteronomy 14:28. At the end of every 3 years, you should bring out all the tithe of your produce. That means it's being stored up in the same year, and lay it up within your towns. And the Levite, because he has no portion of inheritance with you, and the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow who are within your town shall come and eat and be filled, that your Hewafe, your power, may bless you in all the work of your hands that you do. Deuteronomy 26:12. When you have finished paying all the tithe of your increase in the 3rd year, the year of tithing, then you shall give it to the Levite, to the stranger, to the orphan, and to the widow, that they may eat in your towns and be satisfied. There shouldn't be anyone starving around any church if they were adhering wholly to the principle of tithing, don't you think? More Deuteronomy, less Malachi. Tithing is for the needy, not the greedy. And what I did was, just for fun, I posted a book here by a Christian author. I'm going to show you guys this book because I got the book. All right. It's called The Tithing Hoax, Exposing the Lies, Misinterpretations, and False Teachings About Tithing. R. Renee Cynthia Harper. I got the book. I'm going to show it to you guys, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to go in today. So I posted up there. This thing got over almost 160 shares, almost 60 comments, and over 200 reactions. And it's still going. I still got notifications. I didn't check yet about it, and it's still going. This is something that is extremely important in our community, because this is highway robbery. All right? The black community is getting pimped. You're a bunch of simps paying these tithes, man. Okay? Y'all can't keep the tithes. There's other statute laws and commandments we can keep. You can't keep tithes. Stop it. Stop it. And for pastors that saying the law is done away with, it ain't done away with. Y'all still keeping tithes. Why y'all paying tithes of the laws done away with? And if you're offending that part, then you're offending all. Oh, did I say that? Man, that's crazy. And that book I just showed y'all was written by a Christian going in on tithing. I'm going to bring it up in 1 second. But before we get to the book, let me go into the scriptures. All right. I'm going to read some scriptures for y'all so you can understand this, because, when the pastors talk about tithing, you ask them questions. I remember before, I told you a true story. It's part of this church. And I had a situation at home where I was paying my tithes regularly. Then that situation, my dad got sick. I let him stay with me. And then I had to pay to sustain and support him, which means I was on a limited budget, and at that time I couldn't pay full tithe, but I paid, I think it was like 80%, right? I couldn't pay my full 10%. So I paid 80% of the 10% I was supposed to pay, right? And guess what? I was called to go speak to it was the pastor's wife that was the administrator over this. She sat down with me. She spoke to me about this. This is when I knew something crazy was going on. Okay. And she sat down with me. She was like, hey, how you doing? You know, feigning concern or whatever. I said, man, you know, things are not really that great because, you know, my dad, he's sick. He got evicted from his apartment. You know, he's not working right now. So I have to support him. Right. And then even after that, later on, I had to support another family that stayed with me. Right. And I told her, I said, look, right now, you know, until I get, you know, my dad situated for the next couple of months, I can't pay the full 10% of, you know, my income. I can only give maybe about 80% of the 10% I can give. So that means if I could give $100, if that's how much my tithing was, I would give $80, right? Which is 80% of the 10% that I'm supposed to give. And she was like, she said to me, she's like, you don't trust God? It's like, what? Yo, you don't trust God? I'm like, what you mean? Yeah, I trust God. What is you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand what she meant by that. She said, yeah. She said, listen, you're not showing faith right now, because if you trusted God, you would give that 10% and let God take care of everything else. I was like, so is the church going to help me? Like, if I do give that 10%, I'm struggling. She was like, no. You know, we have a tight budget and there's things that we have to take care of. But if you trust God, that's why you're here, right? If you trust God, he'll take care of all your needs. I was like, wow. So I just said one thing. I said, can I just ask you one thing? If you really trust God, can you stop collecting tithes and see if God is going to sustain this church? She said, whoa. No, this has nothing to do with us. Yo, true story. Yo, true story, man. This is a true story. And I would say that church had good intentions, but when it came to that tithe, they did not play. Yo, when it came to that tithes, they did not play. She ran that game on me so crazy. I felt so bad. I paid my tithes and I struggled for 2 months. And I was like, man, I can't do this. This is crazy. I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I would say to my grandmother, one that lives out here in Georgia, she said to me, she listen, I don't care. And mind you, she's a hardcore Christian, right? She's a elder mother. She's an evangelist. She's still actively in the church. She said, look, let me tell you something, right? She said, I don't care what no pastor tell you. She's like, all your essential, get taken care of first. She said, because when that light goes off, right? When that that hot water stop running, right? When that eviction notice is coming on your door, ain't no pastor going to be there to say, oh, I'm going to take care of everything. And she said, if the pastor is going to be there, he ain't going to coerce you to give tithes and offerings when you don't have it. She laid that on me. She said that to me, like when I first really got serious into Christianity. She told me that. And she told me that's how she lived. She said, no pastor better tell me that I better give him 10%. And I'm struggling. I said, yo, you know what, Grandma, I feel you. And she told this to me around the time it was 2008, 2009 during the recession. And my grandmother cut back. She's like, look, I'm not paying no tithes. I'm going to give you some dues. And it's whatever I feel is due. Whatever I feel you guys are due, I'm going to give it. My grandmother is hard body with it. She's a Christian. She's a Christian. So at that time, I was like, man, that was crazy. That was back in 2010. It's like, man, are they running game on me? Now, mind you, I'm from New York. I used to hustle in the streets. You know, sometimes you're getting hustled, but it's like you feel obligated anyway. You feel me? But I realized, like, yo, this is a hustle, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. So I got to the point where I transitioned out of that. 2012, I saw the truth about it. You know, after I did some research in 2012, and so I stopped doing that. I ain't giving no tithes. No, actually, I think I stopped giving tithes in 2011, 2011 going to 2012. I think 2011 is when I left that church. So since 2012, I haven't been giving tithes. So I've been tithe free for 8 years. And you know what they told me? They told me if I failed to accept myself with a congregation and I failed to give tithes, that the devourer is going to eat up anything that I try to save. The devourer is going to come. He's going to eat up all your money. I'm like, so you got a spiritual demon that's just going to go and eat people's money? Wow, that's crazy. I was like, yo, I've never heard of that before. I'm like, yo, where this guy at? Because my savings is on point. So where's this devourer at? He's supposed to be eating up my money, right? My money ain't going nowhere. Where he at eating it? Does he eat silver and gold too? Because I got silver and gold say that. He eating that too? Devourer never came to my house. Get out of here with that, man. Now, that's not to go say I didn't struggle from here to there. I'm saying today, as I stand right now, I'm okay. Praise to the Most High. You know why? Because I keep that Torah. I walk in the statute, laws, and commandments. I walk in it. So therefore, ain't no devourer coming over my house. That's not happening. Yah's going to sustain me because I'm sacrificing myself to give back to the community. So why would he let some devourer come into my house? That's the foolishness that they tell you. You got to sow a seed, and the seed is very small. That's your 10%. If you sow the seed, you're going to reap a great harvest. No, you're reaping the harvest because y'all not giving back to nobody. Why you got members who coming in there on a bus because they can't afford a car? Why you got members that's living in Section 8 and in the projects, and you and your ministerial staff and your clergy and your ecclesiastical members, why they ain't doing the same thing? Why? How come all of y'all getting the cut of that money and there's people starving? And you know what they say? They say, oh, but we give to charities. No. All that money that y'all storing is supposed to go to charity. Y'all not no Levites. And I'm going to show you where the scriptures say the benefit of giving tithes only comes when you walk in the statute, laws, and commandments. Y'all doing that? Oh, man, did somebody get upset? I think somebody got mad. It's okay. Hey, it's okay. It's okay, pastors. You're going to use that Coptic Christian magic and try to pray that devourer over my money. I see y'all already. I see y'all. Y'all's going to stand against that. Get out of here with that, man. Get out of there with that. Oh, the boogeyman's coming to take your money because you ain't giving tithes. Where's that at in the scriptures? Where's that at in the scriptures? We're going to go into the scriptures, man. And we're going to go from Genesis, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And then we're going to get those bogus scriptures they try to use, Deuteronomy 14:25, Malachi chapter 3, verse 7 and 12. Take everything out of context. This is what they do. All I do is ask pastors now again, like, y'all keeping tithes. So is the law done away with? Yeah. Wait, how's the law done away with and y'all keeping tithes? You know what they bring up? They bring up that scripture in Matthew where it said, well, Jesus didn't condemn tithes. Well, I thought you said that Jesus was still living under the old covenant. Of course, he's not going to condemn tithes if he's still living under the old covenant. And guess what? The disciples of Yeshua still paid the temple tax, which was just added on top of time. They were still given to the temple. They can't run that game on me no more, man. Stop that. Y'all not Levites, man. Y'all Levites? Where the temple at? Y'all in the temple in Jerusalem? No, but it's just the principle. We're spiritual Levites. You're a spiritual Levite? I've never heard that before. What the heck is a spiritual Levite? Well, we're in the place of the priest. We are. Well, the scripture says in Exodus chapter 19, it says that you all going to be priests of the Most High. All Israelites are priests of the Most High, not just one of y'all. What are you talking about? Hey, if you are spiritual Levite, you got to live like the Levites. The Levites didn't have no home. So why you got a mansion? What? What was that? The Levites will go into the inns, into where people are drinking and communing and sit there and wait for somebody to take them into their house. What you got a house for, spiritual Levite? How that work? What? What was that? Oh, but tithing was before the law. Oh, tithing was before the law. Well, that's interesting. We're going to get into that too, because they try to use that as the scapegoat. Like, oh, we out of here. Whew. I gave them that scripture. Hold that. And I said, do you even understand the backdrop of how that works? Which you from the order of Melchizedek? Yeah, we are the order of Melchizedek through Yeshua. You are? Really? So you're saying that people are supposed to tithe to you because you're from the order of Melchizedek. Wow. Yo, they go to any length to protect that tithing thing, man. You know what? I see Christians in here right now, man. Y'all good, man. Y'all good. Don't get scared. Hold on to your seats. Strap those seat belts. We're going to go for a bumpy ride. Don't y'all go nowhere. And if there's Christians out there, I always invite y'all to the panel. Defend your tithe giving. Because if this goes to your congregation, you're done. And I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I'm just giving out the truth. It's in the Bible they read, but you don't take them to those scriptures. I'm going to take them to those scriptures. Find me spiritual Levite. I want to see that. And show me where the order of Melchizedek took tithe. Show me that. Show me that in the scripture. Show me where the order of Melchizedek take tithes. And you know why Abraham gave a tithe? Y'all don't even know why he gave a tithe. He gave a tithe to atone himself for going to war and killing people. That portion, listen, tithing is nothing that's new in the ancient Near East. It was before the scriptures. Tithing was already there. Hence why Melchizedek, who's the high priest of the Most High and the king and all of that in one, he was the high priest of El. Because they were already taking tithes. They were already taking tithes. Tithing is not something that started with the scriptures. It was before the scriptures. And I'm going to show y'all that. Not only am I going through the scriptures, I'm going to go outside the scriptures and I'm going to give you references. We're going to go into this tonight. Get your pastor in here. Get your elder, your deacon, your minister, your evangelist. Get all the prosperity preachers. Get all them dudes in here right now. If they want this smoke, we got it. Volcanic ashes in the smoke. If y'all want it, y'all can get it. Send them in here. Go ahead. I got some toe tags and body bags right here ready for them. Send them in. Figuratively speaking. Send them in. Y'all playing with fire, man. The Most High don't appreciate that. How you're saying we doing tithes, but the law is done away with. But walking in the statutes, laws, and commandments is attached to tithing. Why are you not showing your members these scriptures? I know why. Because if they see the truth, they ain't gonna give you nothing. Why can't you simply just do membership dues or donations? KHM, people want to be a member. We tell them up front, hey, membership due $50 to keep everything running for the chapter that you're in. Donations, you want to give to the ministry so we have something to give and do things, whatever you're compelled to give. Tithing is not in the New Testament after Yeshua died. Do you think the apostles was giving tithes to each other? Nah, you're not going to do no Acts chapter 4 where everybody that has it going to sell everything they have to give to those who don't have so that there is equality amongst the people. So everybody has all things in common. You got that at your church, or if the pastor got a Bentley, is everybody in your church got a Bentley too? Everybody in church got a 6-7 bedroom house too? Nobody should be on welfare, right? Because everybody's pulling in the money. Oh no, okay. So you're not even doing Acts chapter 4. That's how they got busy. That's called autonomy. Y'all not doing that. Where's the pastors and the priests right? Where's your pastor right now, man? Bring your pastor and your preacher up in here, man. Send this to everybody. Bring them in here. And those of you who's already here, hit the thumbs up. Any thumbs down, we know it's the pastors, man. Y'all can hate. It's not going to stop the information from coming out. It's not going to stop the information from coming out. So let's put the scriptures in here. I'm going to put the scriptures in the chat. Put all the scriptures in the chat right now, man. All y'all can get this work. It's not a game, man. You're not going to pip my community no more. We tired of that. And pastors still asking for tithes right now. During a crisis. Y'all bugged out, man. And you're going to talk about us, Israelites. Yo, don't save your breath, man. Don't even talk about us, man. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all talking about give us some tithes. I say, yo, I ask people, I said, look, before you give to me, is all your necessities taken care of? Because if it's not, don't give nothing over here. We're not taking it from you. Take care of your household first, man. And if you got any change left over, then we'll gladly welcome it and distribute it to those who have a need. Y'all not getting busy like that. Let me put this on here, man. Let me get all the scriptures. I'm going to type all the scriptures up for y'all so y'all have it. Y'all can take these scriptures, write them down so you can follow along. So I'm about to go in. I'm giving you all the pertinent scriptures to deal with this. And I'm going to touch on some interesting things. Oh, man. Gosh, that should be Numbers. My bad. All right, there we go. Let me give it to you. Hold on. I'll debate any pastor over this. You send your pastors this way, let them get this work. You got a pastor, send him over here, man. Let me see him defend this. He ain't gonna defend this, man. I'm about to destroy him. It's light work, man. Light bars, man. All right. So those are all the scriptures right there. Genesis chapter 14, verses 19 to 20. Genesis 28, verses 20 to 22. Leviticus chapter 27, verses 30 to 33. Numbers chapter 18, verse 8 and verse 20 to 31. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 22 to 29. Deuteronomy chapter 26, going to verses 12 and 19. So I want to deal with the Torah first, which sets the foundation. We have other references to tithes and the rest of the Tanakh, but the foundation is here. We're going to deal with the foundation, and then we're going to deal with that Malachi chapter that they be reaching for, right? And say, oh, tithes are not just food, it's money too. It is, but You know why it's money is when you have food to give, but you can't get to that destination. So you take that food that you was going to give for tithing and you exchange it for money and take that money, spend it on pleasures. So if the pastor is telling me that my money is similar to the giving the tithe, the only time I give tithe as money is I'm going to spend it on myself because I can't make it to give it to the storehouse. You're not telling your members that. If y'all giving money to these churches for tithes, they robbing you because that money's supposed to be for yourself. If you can't make it to that storehouse. Oh, they didn't tell you that in church? Crazy, man. Shout out to my brother Chris for the donation. I appreciate that, my brother. Come on, man. Send your pastors this way, man. Where they at? Where they at? This is all in this. I gave you all the scriptures. Now let's go into the scriptures. Let's deal with the scriptures. Then I'm going to give you that book that I showed you, that Christian book. Y'all need to buy that and give that to your pastor. If you don't have a pastor, but you know pastors, give them this book because it's written by a Christian. Give your pastor, and I guarantee your pastor or somebody else's pastor ain't going to respond to that book. That's written by a Christian. They can't say, well, Israelite wrote that, so I ain't going to read it. No. That's Christians wrote that. I wanted to make sure I had that on deck in case they need a book for reference. That book goes hard, man. I'm going to show you in 1 second. That was written by a Christian going in. But let's go into the scriptures, and let me give you the ancient Near Eastern context in regards to tithe so you can understand that tithing is nothing that's original to the text. Don't let them game you and say, well, but Abraham gave. You know why Abraham gave the tithe? For atonement purposes. He just went to war and kill a bunch of people. So the only way you get exonerated from that is that you got to give a portion of that booty over to a priest of the Most High so you could be atoned. It's in the law. Royal priests wrote out the law that we have today. Hence why we see these legalisms that's there in the book of Genesis. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Is y'all ready? Hit one if y'all ready, man. I don't know if y'all ready yet. If y'all ready, hit one. I told y'all to send a pastor in here. I told y'all, wake they behind. They sleeping, wake them up right now. Text them on your phone, all the pastors you know, and say, yo, I know you a pastor. I know you a pastor. Send them over here. If they support tithe, send them over here. They about to get this work. It's light bars, man. It's light bars. About to get this work. All right. Y'all said one. Y'all want to go? All right, let's go. Let's start with the first scripture. We're going to read it, give the context, and move on. All right. I really want to get into just to summarize all of this. After y'all watch this, if y'all pay any tithes after this, something wrong with y'all, man. You just want to be bewildered. You purposely want to be confounded. You purposely want to be bewitched. You want to. It's a desire that you have with the pastor that's pimping you, and you as his prostitute, his street woman, his bottom chick. That's what y'all want. That's the role you want to play to that pastor. Okay. Hey, who am I to get in the middle of that? Hey, who am I to get in the middle of that? That to me, that's some kind of mental issues there. But hey, he got you thinking that you doing on behalf of God. You are really. The tithing is a covenant thing. Why y'all playing with the covenant like that? Y'all mishandling the covenant. I'm going to show you guys how you shouldn't mishandle the covenant. Let's get into the scripture, man. No more talking, man. Let's go in. All right. First scripture we got up there, Genesis chapter 14. Let me bring up Genesis 14. Over here on the screen for y'all. Let me get to the passage I want to get at, man. All right. Let's throw it up on the screen, man. Let's get this taken care of, man. Y'all, they be playing too much, man. I ain't got time for this, man. Shout out to Millen and Richard Nagas in the building. Shalom, my brother. What's going on? Saint Productions 1 in the building. Nathan Price Sr. What's going on? Stylistic 1. JD Israel. What's going on? Damian Bland. Yah's son. Kindred Messenger KZ in the building. Vaughn Parker. Tracker 97. Vinny D. Davis. You see? This the family over here, man. Okay. All right. Let's get in. Let's get it in, man. No more wasting time talking, man. Let's just get it in. All right. Genesis 14. Let's look at the context. All right. So this has to do with the war that was going on prior to Abraham getting involved. And it says, and the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all the victuals and went their way. Let me change that. All right. So the enemy took all the possessions, went their way. They also took Lot, the son of Abram's brother, who was dwelling in Sodom, and his possessions, and went their way. Then one who had escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew, who was living by the oaks of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and of Aner. These were allies of Abram. When Abram heard that his kinsmen had been taken captive, he led forth his trained men, born in his house, 318 of them, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. Now, this is how you know that this was not written contemporary to the time that Abraham was alive, because we found an anachronism there, this word Dan, because this tribe did not exist yet at this time. So this was written much later. Let's keep going. And he divided his forces against them by night, he and his servants, and defeated them and pursued them to Hobah, north of Damascus. Then he brought back all the possessions. Look at that. Booty. And also brought back his kinsman Lot with his possessions and the women of the people. So anytime you go to war, you must bring back the women and protect them. Men. Okay. Then it says, and after his return from the defeat of Dor Laomer and the kings who were with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Shaveh. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of the Most High power. Okay. And he blessed him and said, blessed be Abram by the Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be the power of Most High, who had delivered your enemies into your hands. You see this? Listen to what he's saying. Blessed be Abraham by the power of the Most High, the possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be the Most High power who has delivered you from your enemies. This is connected to the tithing that we see in the book of Genesis. Don't let that pastor lie to you. Well, tithing was outside the law. Yeah, but under what context? You see this? This is what Christians do. They cherry pick. They cherry pick. That's a logical fallacy. We're not dealing with cherry picking here. Read the context. The pastor going to war. You going to war for the pastor? You going to war for the pastor? How you going to war? Oh, we doing spiritual war. Really? Oh, man, this is crazy. That's real crazy how they twist everything, man. That's real crazy. Let's keep going. And the king of Sodom said to Abram, give me the persons, but take the goods yourself. But Abram said to the king of Sodom, I lifted up my hand to the power, to Yod-Heh-Wah-Pheh, power Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take a thread or a sandal strap or anything that is yours, lest you say, I have made Abram rich. So sometimes it's not even worth taking any money from others if it's going to take away from Yah's glory. Don't do it. Okay, you treading lightly, don't do it. But here, when we deal with the 10th, here, verse 20 says, who had delivered your enemies into your hands, and Abram gave a tenth of everything. So the tithe went to the priest of the Most High to atone for the people that he killed and his men killed. We're going to see this instruction in the law when we get there. But I'm going to give you the context. You see, the background. Tithing is nothing new. It's not new. But let me get you into the second one in Genesis. And then after I deal with you in Genesis, then I'm going to give you some background of tithing in the ancient Near East. And then we're going to dive into how it is differentiated within the mitzvot that was delegated to Israel. Okay. You're going to spiritual combat for your pastor? That's why you're giving the tithe to him? Because you done defeated some demons? I didn't know demons have money. But you know what? That Devourer demon, he might have some money. You know what I'm saying? You ever watch Dora the Explorer, Swiper? I think that's that Devourer demon, man. So when these members are going to war, spiritual war, because the pastor is in place of the priest, right? Remember, he's a spiritual Levite, right? So you're going to war spiritually, and then you're giving a tithe and giving it to him, and he's blessing y'all for giving him money because you're fighting a spiritual warfare. Come on, man. Come on, man. How can you finesse that? That is nuts. But it might be me. I'm just saying this is nuts. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's get Genesis chapter 28, verse 20. All right. Let's go. Again, all you got to do is read the context. Okay. Pastor, no swiping. Next time you see them pass that collection plate, right? Because they trying to get you to put, you said, nope, pastor, no swiping. Pastor, no swiping. Pastor, no swiping. And you know what he's going to do? Throw you out that church. But okay, Y'all need to try that. Pastor No Swiping. Matter of fact, we're going to get some t-shirts called Pastor No Swiping. All right. How many of y'all willing to buy that t-shirt? If you're going to buy that t-shirt, hit the number 2 and we'll draft up the Pastor No Swiping t-shirt. Let me know. We have your pastor there with the bandit mask on and everything. You know what I'm saying? Hand in that collection plate. You just put your hand up and say, Pastor No Swiping. That's it. You want me to do the shirt? I'll do the shirt for you. Pastor No Swiping. All right. All right. Let's keep going. Genesis chapter 28. All right. Y'all got to wear that shirt proud. Next time you go into a church, you say, Pastor No Swiping. That's it. Or you give it to somebody you know and love. Say, Pastor No Swiping. All right. Because he always wants to take a portion of what you got. If you go watch Dora the Explorer, Swiper don't take everything from them. He just take whatever the object is that is in discussion. That's the 10th. And the pastor coming to take it. That's what the message is, the story's trying to tell you. That okay. I'm just messing with y'all. Okay. Make sure you tell your parent, your children that the pastor's swiper. All right, let's move forward, man. All right. Let's go to Genesis chapter 28. All right, let's jump down to verse 20. All right, just so you can see what happened. You see, Jacob had this dream, or Jacob had this dream, blah, blah, blah. He took a stone he had on his head and set it up for a pillar and poured oil on top of it. Again, a pre-exilic Israelite custom. That's important, but people tend to ignore that, but okay. He says here, let's read this, verse 17. And he was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the Beit El, house of the Most High Power, and this is the gate of heaven. Y'all know this scripture, right? Y'all know this in context. So then he took the stone, poured oil on it, did his libation on it. He called the name of the place Bethel, but the name of the city was Luz at the first. Then Jacob made a vow saying, if the Most High will be with me and will keep me in the way that I go and will give me bread to eat and clothing to wear so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Most High Power shall be my power. Yod-Heh-Wav shall be my power. And this stone, which I've set up for a pillar, shall be the power's house. And of all that you give me, I will give a full 10th back to you. How does he give that 10th portion back to the Most High? Ask your pastor that. Say, Jacob right here, he just said he's going to give a tithe to the Most High. Who did he give that tithe to? Ask your pastor that. After you say, Pastor No Swiping, he's going to call you to the side and say, yo, oh, man. Like after you tell him, oh, man, they're going to throw you out the church. Anyway, let's keep it moving, man. All right. But hey, we have another example here in the book of Genesis. So when they try to tell you something, remember, he had this dream. He's seen this image, his vision. He woke up. He had slept on a stone, took the stone, poured a libation. Your pastor pouring libation? He has a dedicatory stone right there in the church. You got the cornerstone in the church. Oh, the cornerstone is Jesus. The anointing, the oil is the Holy Spirit. Yo, they will finesse the heck out of this thing. It's crazy, man. Wow. Half them pastors don't even believe in the literal nature of the text. They spiritualize everything. Let me bring this up for you on the screen. All right. I want y'all to actually see this, the context of this, so you can understand it. All right. Let me bring it up. Okay. We're not playing tonight, man. We're not playing tonight. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. All right. Let's keep going. All right. Yeah, it is. It feels like coercion and a guilt trip. And that book that I told y'all about, the tithing hoax, that book goes hard. It was written by a Christian. I'm going to show y'all it. And it talks about the guilt trip and the coercion. It goes into all of that. Give that to your pastor. If y'all will donate, please, y'all, donate. If y'all donate, if I get $100 tonight, well, I got $100 already. Shout out to my brother at Bona. If I get $200-300 tonight, I'm going to take that money. I'm going to buy copies of that book and I'm going to send it to pastors. All the pastors I know about. I'm going to mail that to them first class. I'm going to order these books on Amazon. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to order them on Amazon. You give me the name of a pastor and I will mail it to him. How about that? Instead of me mailing, you give me a name of a pastor, I'll mail it to him. Give me his contact information, his congregation. I'll mail it to your pastor. He ain't got to pay a dime for it. Okay, I'll mail it to your pastor. All right, so we raise money. I'm gonna mail it to your pastor. Shout out to my brother James, aka Get Wise, in the building. I appreciate the donation, my brother. We're gonna send some of these books to your pastor. All right, you give me your pastor's name, the congregation address, or his address. I will mail that to your pastor or any pastor you know. I'll mail it to them. Okay, for free. Anyway, let's move on. Let me show you the next thing that we got over here. All right, let's get some context so we can understand about tithing within the ancient Near Eastern context. All right, I got this oldie, this old but goodie book that I have here that I read. It's an excellent book. I think y'all should get it. Let me share the screen so y'all can see it. Okay, the name of it is called The Religion of the Patriarchs. All right, hopefully y'all can see it on my screen. Let me make sure that y'all can. I think y'all can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit more so y'all can see it. All right, there we go. All right, here's the book. It's called The Religion of the Patriarchs by Augustine Pagolu. All right, and let's read this right here, okay? Let me zoom in some more. Let me know if it's good. Can y'all see it? If y'all can see it, hit 1. If y'all can see it, hit 1. Shout out to JD Israel for the donation. Thank you, my brother. All right. King David the Lucifer said we're all supposed to be priests. So that means who's going to give to us then? If we all priests, then are we giving to each other? Is that how that works? So if I give you a tenth, a tithe, you're going to give me a tithe? We're going to read the scriptures for that. So we all priests. You give me a tithe, I give you a tithe. So the same 10% I gave you, give it back to me. That's how it works. So what are we even giving tithes for in the first place? How does that work? All right, let's read this. All right. Old Assyrian, Old Babylonian sources, both Esratu and Esretu, are used in a source to describe the practice of tithing, and the idea was current in both religious and secular contexts. While the Old Assyrian text refers to the tithe imposed on garments as tax, another refers to the tenth of a business proceeds as share. An Old Babylonian text, however, states that the god Shamash, the sun deity, demands the tithe from those who borrowed or vowed. Because, in scripture, it has that vow in practice as well, custom, right? The payment of this tithe was linked to the barley harvest, suggesting that the tithe could have been annual or collected from every harvest. An early Babylonian letter from Larsa probably confirms the idea of an annual tithe. On the account of the dues for this year, delivered to me like last year in payment of the tithe, this suggests that tithing was not only annual, but also obligatory. Further, a tithe is mentioned several times in a letter from the first Babylonian dynasty as imposed or required by both the temple and the palace concerning the grain, which is the tithe of the temple of the gods. Our Lord has bidden us to impose a tithe of grain. They have taken the workmen of the temple of the gods for the grain, which is the tithe of the palace. There seems to be a conflict between the temple tithe and the palace tithe. It is not clear from the letter whether the temple tithe was obligatory on the palace and vice versa, but it is clear that a tithe was imposed by both temple and palace. Thus, the tenth of the Old Assyrian period, which appears more like a civil tax, and a tenth of the Old Babylonian period, which is both required by both the palace and the temple, were obligatory and properly paid by everyone through the latter, though the latter is not explicitly stated. So again, we're looking at the Old Assyrian period, Old Babylonian period. They were already given tithes. Okay, this was already being done. Okay, so it's nothing new when you see it in the scriptures. Don't let no pastor tell you that, oh, the Most High God just dropped it down on Abraham and Melchizedek. That's not true. Tithing was something that was a regular in the ancient Near East. But what made it distinct is how it was codified within the statute, laws, and commandments for the children of Israel within a covenant, and then had other stipulations attached to it. That's what made it different. That's what made it Kodesh, or set apart. Ugaritic sources. The Ugaritic texts designate the tithe for Emsir. It can be observed from the few texts where the idea occurs that the tithe at Ugarit was paid not by individuals, but by the whole villages as collective bodies, not as a religious obligation, but as a civil tax. A peculiar feature of tithe occurs at Ugarit, where the king grants particular towns and all that belong to them as a permanent gift of the tithe to his favored officials and their families. The almost identical idea of the royal grant of civil tithes described in 1 Samuel 8:15-17 was probably patterned after the Ugaritic practice. Some have also argued that the tithes and offerings assured to the Levites and the priests were formulated in the matter of the royal grants at Ugarit and other Near Eastern cultures. A ritual text from Ugarit describes tithing in a religious context, with the Ugaritarians, Ugaritians, advised to vow various offerings such as a bull, a firstborn, and tithes, and to seek the help of Baal in the event of an enemy's attack. There is considerable dispute, however, about the doubtful text that may be rendered as tithe. The opening and closing words of the line are taken coming from the verse seer to tithe by Maraglitz and Cartledge, but as banquet by Herdner. In the other context at Ugaritic, it occurs in connection with preparation for eating and drinking, and is variously translated by scholars as drink or libation, right? Which is interesting because we saw Yaakov pour libation on a stone, and then we see him later on talk about a tithe. So could the tithe be the pouring of the libation? Interesting. Your pastor didn't tell you that, did he? Oh, but I gave the answer away. Man, that was supposed to be homework for your pastor. It's okay. You know the answer. He don't. Let's keep going. However, the idea of a tithe rather than a banquet fits better in the context of a vow because the former forms part of the incentives for the deity to act in favor of petitioners. On the other hand, there is no evidence elsewhere of a banquet or a drinking party being vowed, though a libation could be vowed. Therefore, if the text meant tithes, let's get the second video. Hold on 1 second. Let's get the next one up. Here it is. Let me zoom in. Let me keep going. Let's keep going. We're going to kill your passes with this, man. Figuratively. Shout out to JD Israel for the donation. I appreciate that. Shout out to my brother Dale H for the donation. I appreciate that. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. Got so many sources on this, man. I'm just being easy right now until a pastor shows up in here. You ain't waking up your pastors, man, or your ex-pastors. Get them in here. Right? Indicates that sacrifice and offerings are as much a part of cultic observance as tithes, although the obligatory aspect of the latter still remains unclear. Thus, the tithe at Ugaritic was largely considered as a civil tax, although it is possible that it was considered as religious practice as well. As a civil tax, it was obligatory, but as a religious practice, it was probably voluntary and effective means of seeking divine favor in times of need. That is why you tithe, but we're going to get into that when we get into the rest of the scriptures, right? Let's keep going. More importantly, the tithe at Ugaritic was granted in the form of cities to the king's favorite officials as a permanent possession. As some scholars think, this is possibly reflected in biblical accounts of 1 Samuel and was applied to the priestly grants in Israel. Okay, so we look at the foundation in Torah and then look to see how it's applied in the Ketubim, the writings, and the Nevi'im and the prophets. All right, let's keep going. Or in the histories. All right. Late Babylonian sources, the frequent mention of tithes and monthly tributes in the clay tablets and their payment to the temples of Gebirah and Iana suggests that tithes in the 6th century Babylonia were paid not to the royal treasury, but to the temples. The common word used to describe the tithe in these documents is esru. As in the Sumerian, Old Assyrian, Old Babylonian sources, the tithe was paid from all sorts of goods like wool, sesame, dates, barley, flax, oil, garlic, clothes, cattle, sheep, birds, fish, timber, metalware, and articles of silver and gold. But in contrast to earlier periods, it was clearly imposed on all peoples, including farmers, shepherds, gardeners, bakers, smiths, weavers, potterers, fishermen, fivefolders, various officials, governors, priests, temple officials, and even tithe collectors. Kings and their family members made proportionately low payment, obviously not a tenth of their fortunes. Further, the tithe was collected on certain fixed dates, and if anyone failed to pay an appointed time, interest was charged on each month's delay. Sometimes the tithe is described both as a regular payment and as a gift vowed to a deity in crisis or sickness. It is very clear for some texts that some deities possess tithe lands, which were given on lease, and the proceeds were turned over to the temple. I'm going to show you something else on this. It's deep. We're going to keep going. It's a lot of information. Thus, according to the late Babylonian sources, tithing was obligatory, levied from all kinds of goods and from people of all walks of life. A tithe was also vowed in times of crisis, probably in addition to the obligatory dues. The tithe lands may have been the permanent property of the temple and clergy, just as Levitical cities were for the Levites. The idea of interest accruing on a deferred payment was probably unique to the late Babylonian period. Now, I want to show you something. Since we're talking about this, before we get into the scriptures, because we're going to go hard, let me show you something. And I probably should hold this off until I do the scriptures, but I'm going to do it before the scriptures, right? But let me show you something since we're on the topic of Babylonian and later on Persian captivity. Let me show you something interesting, right? Let's keep going. All right. Let me show you another source real quick. And again, if you pledge on Patreon, you can get this $120 book that you see on Amazon. Let me show it to you on Amazon real quick. I want y'all to see it on Amazon. Okay. Let me show you this book on Amazon. Right. This book right here. Well, no, this book is not expensive. I'm sorry. This one you guys can get cheap on Amazon for like $15. The other book, the $120 book, that one is more expensive. This one you can also get on Kindle or paperback. But let me show you this book. I want to show you this book, and then I'm going to show you the actual book. But you can get it on Amazon. I want to show it to you so you guys can purchase it on Amazon, or if those of you who pledge to the Patreon, you get access to this for free. You need to get this book, and I'm going to show you something in this book that is excellent. Okay. This is the book right here. All right, let me zoom in. It's called The Cultural World of the Bible. It's only $15 for Kindle, or the paperback, you get it for $14.75. You must buy this book, or you can get it for free if you sign up for our Patreon, okay? Because we get tons of books like this that's in our Patreon as book suggestions to all the people that sign up for our Patreon. But you must get this book. This book is critical if you want to understand what this ministry is about, because we deal with the cultural foundation first. You can't even decipher prophecy if you don't know anything about the culture, right? But this book is important. Now that I show you this book, you can get this from Amazon. Let me actually go into the book because I want to show you something actually in the book that you guys need to see. This is very, very interesting, okay? I have the book up right here, okay? Let me show you guys this. Because again, when we deal here, we don't just deal with the scriptures. We look for extra biblical data that helps substantiate the scriptures. Shout out to XROS for the donation. My brother Dimitri Elder for the donation. Thank you so much as well, family. I appreciate all the donations. Let's keep going in. All right. Pastors, y'all welcome to join in after this. Okay. Pastors, y'all can join in. We okay. We don't discriminate. All right. No respect of person. You're a pastor. You can get in here and get this work. But let's read this. Okay. The Murashu Family Archive. The Murashu firm was operated by a family of Jewish financiers. They say Jewish, that's crazy. But anyway, Yahudim financiers in Nippur during the Persian period. They produced records. Now, mind you, these are a group of individuals that was taken into captivity into Babylon. Okay. And then from their settlement in Babylon, I told you about the Al Yahudu tablets, going into this period for the Murashu Family Archive, we're going to see something interesting, all right? It says they produce records of their transactions, including lease contracts and cuneiform tablets. I'm going to touch on two things when I read this. I'm going to show you guys the assimilation of a lot of the Yahudim into Babylonian culture. This is why when they came back, they was having a different Babylonian names for months, post-exilic, and then some of them even had the Babylonian names. These was all a part of assimilating into the Babylonian society. This is why we talk about pre-exilic. We go into the state before assimilation and pre-exilic captivity. I mean, post-exilic captivity. We talk about the pre-exilic state. Okay, but let's keep reading. They also employed a labeling system using ink inscriptions in Aramaic on the tablets that provides a synopsis of the tablet's content and the names of business associates. Among the many names listed in these documents are familiar Jewish personal names, including Hanani, Shabbatai. You know what that word Shabbat is root there. Jonathan, or however you want to say it. While some names are Babylonian, it's possible to establish through linguistic analysis some of the families mentioned as being Jewish, especially those that include a form of the divine name Yahweh that they have there. Now, this is on page 166 from the book that I showed y'all, okay? It is likely that many Jewish families, at least for public and business purposes, adopted what? Babylonian and Babylonian-sounding names to blend into their exilic environment. The Murashu documents also indicate that these Jewish exiles had business rights and opportunities similar to their non-Jewish neighbors. See Jeremiah 29:5-9. Below is a typical example of one of their commercial transactions. Now, remember I talked about tithes. And in that previous reference, we talked about the land being offered as a tithe or tithe field or tithe land. Here's another extra biblical reference to go and substantiate that. Again, when you look at tithes, it has to do with the land, the connection between the individual and the land. That's extremely important. Okay, Yadiyah, the son of Banael, Yahunatin, Shema'on, and Ahiyah, the sons of Yadiyah, Sator, the son of Shabbatai, Baniah, the son of Amel Nana, Yigdalyah, the son of Nana Edin, Abda, the son of Apla, Natun, the son of Shelim, and all their partners in Beit Gira, spoke freely to Elil Shum Edim, the son of Murashu, as follows: rent to us for 3 years the Maris Canal, because remember, the Israelites were settled in areas so that way they can cultivate the land and make things better. They took the middle class and the upper class and left the poor in the land, and they took those people and settled them along canals, the river, lands that had a lot of vegetation, lands that was good for grazing, and they used their skills or their trades to work the land so that way they could bring in these taxes or these tithes back into the political establishment in captivity. So they was always using Israelites to make them wealthy. This was nothing new. Okay. Some people say that sounds eerie to so-called Africans and diaspora here in the Americas, but we're not going to touch on that right now. Let's keep going. Okay. Rent to us for 3 years. Remember that term, 3 years, is going to come in handy when we go into these scriptures. The Maris Canal from its inlet up to its outlet, and the tithe field, which is on this canal, the tithe field, that means a portion of the field was given. So certain areas of land was designated as tithing land. So if you're given a tenth, you're going to proportion a small part of your land so you can take it and give the tithes for. Israelites was always taking care of their own. This is why when you had people that had fields, gleaning was anything that fell down. You was not allowed to take. It was for the poor. This is why when we see Ruth, she's going into the land and she's gleaning from anything that's fallen on the ground, because the Israelites were required to take care of the poor, the widows, which she was, the fatherless, and everybody else, the strangers, the Levites. You take care of those that don't have an inheritance or can't afford to take care of themselves. That's baked into our culture. So when you see that I create a GoFundMe, it's because, look, I'm obligated. I didn't have to do that if I was a secular person, but as an Israelite, I'm obliged to do that. We are obliged to take in what we can and give it to the community. I'm not out here saying I'm a spiritual Levite, I'm a Levite. You ain't got to do all of that. Take the principle of Torah and apply it. It's that simple. But when you coerce people into doing it to make them think that they're following some kind of statute or commandment, now you're in error. Stop that. Stop that. Pastor, no swiping. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. And the field which is left to the Milidu Canal and the 3 marshes which are to the right of the Milidu Canal, except the field which drinks its waters from the Elil Canal. And we will give you annually 700 cur of barley according to the standard measure of Elil Shum Edin, and as an annual gift 2 grazing bulls and 20 grazing rams. And that's the source right there. So 2 things I want you to see here. The reason why we push pre-existing Israelite culture is because this is when the Israelites were in their pure status and a somewhat sovereignty state. Sometimes they were vassal state, sometimes they weren't. And this is before they went in and assimilated into the society of another culture. And we have evidence there. The second thing is to show you that tithe land, the same concept that the Israelites got from being in Israel in captivity, they still designated pieces of land and fields that were tithes that they used to give to the administration, the state administration of the entity that they were subjugated to. And that was also something similar that they were already doing, giving it to the Levites. So I'm trying to do a cultural comparative analysis so you guys can see these things. This is extra biblically. That's validating what we see in the scriptures. Okay. All right. Are you still there, pastors? Then don't go nowhere. You preachers, you pastors, you ministers, you evangelists. All right. You elders, you deacons, all you dudes, sit tight. Don't go nowhere. We got the panel coming up. You could join in. All right. So now that you have seen this, let's get into the scriptures. Let's finish with the scriptures. There's no doubt, shadow of a doubt, after seeing this, that you can ever be deceived again unless you want to be deceived. But let's keep going. Let's get into the scriptures. First scripture, Leviticus chapter 27. Shout out to Jay Lockhart 25 for the donation. I appreciate them, brother. Thank you so much for that. Let's get into the scriptures, right? Leviticus chapter 27. Okay, this is the first time tithing is introduced. Okay, Leviticus. When I say introduce, I'm talking about into the law, right? What we call the law, the mitzvot, the laws, right? Leviticus chapter 27, verse 30. I'm gonna jump down to verse 30. Make sure you'll grab it. Okay, let's go into it. Let me pull it up on the screen so y'all can follow with me. Okay. Every tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the trees, is Yod He Wafes. It is set apart, or Kodesh, to Yod He Wafes. If a man wishes to redeem some of his tithe, he shall add a fifth to it. If he's going to redeem, that's another lesson all into itself. But let's keep going. And every tithe of herds and flocks, every type of animal, of all that pass under the herdsman's staff shall be set apart for the most high. Why? Because you had agriculturalists and you had pastoralists. Pastoralists had the herds, agriculturalists had the wheat, the barley, the dates, the honey dates, the pomegranates, the grapes, the olives, right? So it doesn't matter what your trade is. Those are the two major trades. And we had other skills and artisans in between, but these are the two major trades. So anything that's from the seed of the land or the fruit of the trees, and any animal from herds of flocks or animals that pass under the herdsman's staff shall be set apart for the Most High. One shall not differentiate between good or bad, neither shall he make a substitute for that. What? Substitute, which would be money. So the money was never given for tithes into the store. Ah, wow. Let's keep going. If he does substitute for it, then both it and the substitute shall be set apart. It shall not be redeemed. This is deep. If you want to get a portion of the tithe you gave, you got to add a fifth to your 10th, and you can get a portion back. But if you substitute those goods or those animals as a tithe, you substitute it for something else, you can't get that something else back. It don't work that way. So now, technically, if you're giving this money as a substitute instead of the foods that you're supposed to be giving and the animals that you're supposed to be giving to your pastor, and he's saying he's a spiritual Levite. Now, technically, he can keep your money. You can't redeem it. He's going to keep it for himself. Y'all buying into it. He got you with Leviticus 27:33. Y'all played yourself by giving him money, but that's just me. Well, my New York swag saying this. Don't take it from somebody that's from New York, from the Bronx. Hey, what do I know? I don't know nothing, right? Okay, let's keep going. All right, that's important. Y'all write that down. Leviticus chapter 27, verses 30 to 33. Let's get into the next one. Numbers chapter 18. And we're going to go to verse 8. And I'm going to give you something interesting in the book of Numbers. After we do with Numbers, we're going to go to Numbers chapter 31. I'm going to show you something interesting there, right? As it ties back to Abraham or Abraham, okay? Numbers chapter 18, verse 8. Then watch this. Then Yehovah spoke to Aharon. Behold, I have given you charge of the contributions made to me. Who? Aharon. And all the consecrated things of the people of Israel. I have given them to you as a portion, and to your sons as a perpetual due. So the perpetuity of this practice was given to Aharon and his sons, his bloodline, and he's a Levite. It didn't say spiritual Levites in the future. It don't say that nowhere. Where's the spiritual Levite? Where's this at? Ask your pastor, where's this at? Where's the spiritual Levite at? Okay, let's keep going. Let's jump down to verse 20. Okay? Let's keep going. Verse 20. And Yehovah said to Aharon, you shall have no inheritance in their land. That means your pastor shouldn't own no land. Your pastor shouldn't have no house. Why your pastor got land and got a house? Well, he got that for. He a spiritual Levite. Keep up with the principle. Pastor. Okay, let's keep going. Neither shall you have any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance amongst the people of Israel. To the Levites, I have given even tithe in Israel for an inheritance and return for their service that they do, their service in the tent of meeting. Now, pastors say, look, you see, I'm working hard. So because I'm working hard on behalf of the Most High, I should be getting your tithes. Well, wait a second, buddy. You're not a Levite. If you want a donation, we can give you a donation. That's not a problem. I ain't going to give you nothing called an offering either, because you know why? That offering, that has a legalistic term in Torah. That's under the covenant. I can't even give you no offering. The only time that you give, even that word free will in the scriptures, is to a voluntary offering, which means you give something above what you're required to give. That's the only time you see free will in the Tanakh, is when you give more than what you're required to give. But let's keep going. So that the people of Israel do not come near the tent of meeting, lest they bear sin and die. But the Levites shall do the service of the tent of meeting. They shall bear their iniquity. If your pastor bearing your iniquity, okay. It shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations, and among the people of Israel, they shall have no inheritance. Why your pastor got land and a house? For the tithe of the people of Israel, which they present as a contribution. Remember, he said, Aaron, I'm going to put you and your sons over the contributions because you ain't got no inheritance. So that small contribution is your inheritance. And you know what they're contributing? They're contributing food items, food stuffs. This is what they call in academia, in ancient archaeology and anthropology. They're called food stuffs. because this is so they can eat food. Sometimes they'll eat some items from certain sacrifices, right? That wasn't like burnt sacrifice or wholly burnt up, but this is also food. Food. So they were given food by the people to eat, and then they had no inheritance. They had to go live with somebody else. So your pastor, you got to give food to the storehouse. Your church need to have a storehouse, right? A granary, whatever you want to call it. Put some grains in there, some barley, some wheat, some honey dates, some pomegranate, some olives, some grapes. And then you know what? Get some lamb chops, right? Get some what you call it? Some goat chops, right? Get some items like that, some food stuffs, and say, "Here, pastor, that's my tithes. Put it in that storehouse right there. That's your food, pastor." Pastor, what? You said you about to go out and eat with the congregation? No, pastor, your food is over there. Pastor, what you doing? Pastor, we give you the tithe so you can eat. That's your food right there. Cook your food, pastor. Oh, you talking about you having a banquet, pastor appreciation? What's all of that? And we got to pay. No, pastor, we gave you the tithes, pastor. The food is right there. It's right there for you, pastor. We can't eat that. That's not for us to eat. That's for you, pastor. Oh yeah, you got to stay with Jimmy and them tomorrow because he got regular space. You can stay with him, pastor, because you know you're not supposed to have no house. You a spiritual Levite, right? Okay, I'm just saying if you're gonna go hard or go home, that's all I'm saying. And Most High, Yod-Heh-Wav spoke to Moshe, saying, "Moreover, you shall speak and say to the Levites, when you take from the people of Israel the tithe that I shall have given to you from them for your inheritance, then you shall present a contribution from it to the Most High, a tithe of the tithe." Your pastor giving a tithe of the tithe, is he doing that? "And your contribution shall be counted to you as though it were the grain of the threshing floor and the fullness of the winepress." It's equivalent to that because they don't do that work. So their tithe of the tithes equals to somebody working in the fields. "So you shall also present a contribution to the Most High from all your tithes, which you receive from the people of Israel. And from it you shall give Yod-Heh-Wav's contribution to who? Aaron." So the Levites are taking a tithe from the tithes coming to them. They're taking a tenth of what's apportioned to them, and they're giving it to Aaron. That's what's going on. Aaron is dead. He's not here right now. Your pastor Aaron, he's reincarnated as Aaron. Some of y'all teach that. Okay. "Out of all the gifts to you, you shall present every contribution due to the Most High Yah, for each its best part is to be dedicated. Therefore, you shall say to them, when you have offered from it the best of it, then the rest shall be counted to the Levites as produce of the threshing floor and as produce of the winepress. And you may eat it in any place, you and your households, for it is your reward in return for your service." You see that? Pastor, you work for food. You a spiritual Levite, you work for food, buddy. I ain't giving you no money, pastor. I'm giving you food. That's the reward that you get. So we're going to get into that money thing. Because they say, no, you know, tithes can be money too. Yeah, but we're going to see the context, pastor. But there you go. You may eat of it. That's your tithes, pastor. We're going to give you some food stuffs. That's your reward for the service that you've done since you're a spiritual Levite. And you better not have no house or no land, pastor. You better not, pastor. Y'all want me to keep going? Hit one if you want me to keep going, man. Let's go into the rest of the scriptures, man. Hit one. Want to make sure y'all awake. Y'all staying focused. Shout out to Carriite Israelites for Truth for the donation. I appreciate that, my brother. All right. Levite Appreciation Day. Yo, hit one, family, if you want me to keep going, man. Keep going. Because if y'all giving these pastors money, don't think you can get that money back now. Because he got you on that Leviticus scripture. All right, because y'all substituted that food stuffs and y'all gave him money, so he get to keep that. But yo, show him this. Say, pastor, yo, we're gonna give you some food stuffs. And we saw what it was, right? The seed of the field, right? And the fruit of the trees, and anything that goes under the shepherd's staff, which is sheep, goat, whatever, that's what you give to the pastor. All right. Y'all saying one, y'all still there. Rise of the Ancient Kingdom. What's going on? Eric Burrell, what's going on? Howard Seraphine, what's going on, my brother? How you doing? Thank you for watching and spending time with us. Brother Yarden, building Slowful, the God, Seeking the Truth Ministry. Sister Taki Cochran in the building. What's going on? Isaac Judah, DJ. Let's get it. Let's keep going. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 14, man. I got some more stuff. We're going to get into some more stuff, man. Let me just work on this real quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy, man. Like I said, the only time that this is going to work, if y'all watching this, if you guys have Stockholm syndrome, man, because I'm telling you, man, that pastor's the pimp and you the prostitute. I mean, it's straight like that. You come to the pastor and say, Pastor, I ain't got it this week. Oh man, instead of him giving you a physical slap, he gonna give you a spiritual slap and say, God is not happy with you. You want the devourer to come and eat up your money, and you should have more faith. That's him doing this to you. You letting the pastor slap you up like that? You putting you on that stroll to go get that money and saying, you better have my tithes and offerings even through a pandemic crisis. You better make some house visits and give pastor that money. You owe pastor you better get pastor that money. Pastor not playing with y'all, man. All right. It don't matter if there's a pandemic at the end of the world. You better give those tithes, man. Let's keep going. Deuteronomy is going to body bag them. Let's keep going, man. Deuteronomy 14, jump to verse 22. It says right here, tithes. You shall tithe all the field of your seed that comes from the field year by year. Remember the field tithe that I showed y'all in the Marushu tablets? Okay. And before Yehovah, your power, in the place that he will choose to make his name dwell there, you shall eat the tithe of your grain, of your wine, and your oil, and of the firstborn of your herd and flock, that you may learn to fear Yehovah always. So tithing is also to learn how to reverence the Most High. And if, watch this, the pastor uses this for money. I'm gonna read this to you. Watch this. And if the way is too long for you, right? So you can't go to the place that he put his name in, so that you are not able to carry the tithe. What is the tithe that you're carrying? Wheat, barley, and other grains. Also, the fruits, right? What else? Oh, those lambs and those goats. If you can't carry that with you because it's too far, when Yehovah, your power, blesses you because the place is too far from you, which Yehovah, your power, chooses to set his name there, then you shall turn it into money. Remember that substitute? So let's say you did have a little bit of change and you did make your way there. That money that you give, you can't redeem it because you substituted the foodstuffs for money. Peep game. And spend the money. Wait, so they say, oh, the tithe is money. Yeah, but that's when I can't make it to the church to give you the foodstuffs, pastor. So, pastor, if I'm on a vacation and I can't get to you, pastor, hey, my tithes, pastor, I'm going to go and do what? Spend the money for whatever you desire, oxen and sheep or wine and strong drink, whatever your appetite. Everybody right now, y'all can't go to church. Why are you giving pastor your tithes? That money, you need to be spending it on yourself. Man, he done pimped you dudes out, man, and you women out. He did y'all dirty. All you got to do is read the scripture to pass away, pastor. All of us is on stay at home, shelter in place, lockdown. The scriptures say, pastor, that tithe was supposed to give you for that. I'm supposed to spend it on what I want, pastor. Y'all give your pastor Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 24 to 26, and tell your pastor, I'm a long ways from the church, pastor. I'm stuck at home. So you know what? That tithe money, I'm about to spend it. I'm about to go like this. With that tithe money that I never see every month, I get to see that now. I'm going to stay at home as long as possible. I'm going to pray that the Most High will keep this coronavirus in the wild so that legislation can continue to tell us, or the governors continue to tell us, the president continue to stay at home, because I ain't got to give pastor my money now. Y'all need to give this to all your Christian friends and family, man. They ain't not supposed to be giving the pastor that tithe, man, if they ain't locked down at home. Why are you giving pastor that tithe and you locked down at home? You're far away from the church. Spend that money on yourself, man. Do like this. Shoot a video to your pastor. Take that tithe money and go like this. Go like that. Pastor gonna be like, what's going on here? Why everybody making it rain money? That's your tithe money. Get your envelope, stuff that money in there. Like, take it out, stuff that money in there. Shoot a video, say, hey, pastor, man, you know what? I want to thank the Most High for blessing me. You know how he blessed me? You know that tithe money we're supposed to give you? Well, the scripture says that if we are far away from the church, guess what? If that tithe money, that tithe supposed to give you is money, and we are far away along, we can't bring it there. Guess what I'm going to do, pastor? You see this envelope? Take this money out. Damn, let me count this, pastor. See that tithe money, pastor? You see that? Look at that. Look at, I'm making it rain faster. Look at that. Hold on. Let me pick your tithe money back up. Look at that. Oh, that you like that. You like that, right, pastor? I know you like that. I know you. Oh, you don't like that? Oh, because it's not going to you, pastor. Damn. Well, you know what, pastor? Some stuff I seen on Amazon I want to get, and some stuff I want to buy. I'm a chill with your tithe money, pastor. Why are y'all giving pastor the money? Christians, are y'all reading the scriptures? Okay. All right. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, man. Make sure you do a dab in that video too for the pastor. Oh, loving this tithe money. Yo, this is a body bag, man. Yo, y'all need to share this with your pastors, man. Serious face, man. Share it with those pastors, man. Yo, the coronavirus situation is saving y'all money. Saving your money. And pastors got the nerve to tell people you still need to send in your tithes. For what, pastor? Ain't you reading the scriptures, pastor? Because if I give this money to you in a crisis and I'm suffering, guess what? Because I gave it to you as a substitute, I can't redeem it. But you know what, pastor? Because I created it as a substitute and I can't physically give it to you as a substitute and redeem it, I'm going to spend this bread, pastor. You like that, right, pastor? You like that, pastor? You see that's money going up there, pastor? All right, let me stop. Let's keep going. I know some people getting offended right now. Y'all be all right. Okay, let's keep going. And you shall not neglect the Levite who is within your towns, for he has no portion or inheritance. At the end of every 3 years, you shall bring out all of the tithe of your produce in the same year and lay it up within your towns. Now watch this. So now we have tithes that's going in every year. We're giving the tithes in the storehouse. So the Levites will have it. And out of that tenth, the Levites are taking their portions and giving a tenth to Aaron. He's not there no more, so that's theirs. And now on the third year, what are they doing? They're taking all of the storehouse tithes, and let's keep this, watch this, and lay it up within your towns. Watch how revolutionary this is. This is why these pastors don't tell you the law is done away with. They don't want you reading this stuff. Right? Watch this. And the Levite, because he has no portion or inheritance with you, and the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow who are within your town shall come and eat and be filled, that Yod-Heh-Wav, your power may bless you in all the work of your hands that you do. Pastor, this is the third year, pastor, you've been collecting tithes. Are you taking this tithe money, you giving it to the sojourner, the person that's passing through that really ain't got no inheritance, the fatherless, the widows that's in these towns? Are you bringing it to these towns and these cities and you giving them those tithes you taking? Are you not doing that, pastor? So what makes you think you being blessed by the Most High? Damn. Crazy body bag, man. Crazy body bag, man. I told you I got the toe tags and the body bags, man. This is a morgue right here, man. We stuffed the bodies over here, figuratively speaking. So your pastor doing that every 3 years? He giving all that tithe money away? Is he doing that? Well, my pastor, he does charities, and my pastor, he does this. No. All that tithe money needs to be on the table, and it needs to be distributed to everybody that has a need. Hold that. You want to keep the tithes, keep all of it. Every third year, y'all need to be giving this away. Y'all not doing that? And you think that church is blessed? Why your pastor ain't reading these scriptures to you? Why he's only giving you Malachi? Damn. And you try to take Deuteronomy chapter 14:25 out of context. We body bag that. Why he's not this? Hey, I just want somebody to say, hey, pastor, let's go over all the scriptures in regards to tithes, pastor. Let's read everything. And if you're a spiritual Levite taking the tithes, pastor, how does this apply to you? Okay. Somebody's pastor's hurting here. Somebody's hitting that thumbs down button. It's okay. I'm not going to stop it. The truth's still going to come out. Deuteronomy chapter 26. All right, let's jump down to verse 12. When you have finished paying all the tithe of your produce in the third year, which is the year of tithing, giving it to the Levite, the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow, so that they may eat within your towns and be filled. Watch this. Then you shall say, after you give your tithes every year, on that third year, then you shall say before Yod-Heh-Wav, your power, I have removed the sacred portion out of my house, and moreover, I have given it to the Levite, the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow, according to all your commandment that you have commanded me. I have not transgressed any of your commandments. Your pastor transgresses commandments all the time. You're eating ham hocks right after church is over, in the church. Okay. This has to do with the statutes and the commandments. Why your pastor doing this? Why are you doing this? Y'all not under the old covenant, right? Okay. I have not transgressed any of your commandments, nor have I forgotten them. I have not eaten of the tithe while I was mourning, or removed any of it while I was unclean, or offered any of it to the dead. I have obeyed the voice of the Most High power. I have done according to all, not some, not a part, all you have commanded me. Look down from your holy habitation from heaven and bless your people, the spiritual Israelites. No, Israel, and the ground that you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. This blessing is only for Israel. Unless your pastor teaches that you're Israelites. Okay. This day, The Most High, your power commands you to do these statutes and rules. What? He commands you to do statutes and rules. You shall be, therefore, be careful to do them with all your heart and with all your soul. You have declared today, this all attached to tithes, that the Most High power, that Yod-Heh-Wav is your power, and that you will walk in his ways and keep his statutes and his commandments and his rules and will obey his voice. I didn't write this. And the Most High Power has declared today that you are a people for his treasured possession, as he has promised you, and that you are to keep all his commandments, and that he will set you in praise and in fame and in honor high above all nations that he has made, and that you shall be a people set apart to Yod-Heh-Wav, your power, as he promised. Why is your pastor still doing tithes? Why are you still doing tithes? And you don't claim to be an Israelite. There ain't no storehouse. You're not giving him foodstuffs. Your pastor got land and he got a house. Y'all still sending your pastor donations from home. Y'all violating this. How are you going to be blessed and you doing the opposite of what the Most High is telling the Israelites to do? How does that work? How's your pastor going to spiritualize all of this? That's that foolishness. But let's get to Numbers chapter 31. I want to show you guys something real quick. Let's go to Numbers chapter 31. All right? We keep going, man. See, I'm surgical with these scriptures, man. Don't play with me. Because I could stay right in the scriptures and just deal all day. But you know, I try to be holistic. Okay, but let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. All right, let's keep going, man. It's not a game. Shout out to my brother Yesham, more in the building, seeking the truth ministry. Let's keep going. See, nobody reads it with this type of spirit. We read it with this spirit, man. Pastor, no swiping. The shirts are coming soon, man. Pastor, no swiping. Make sure you buy those shirts too, because the proceeds from the church, we're going to buy these books that we're going to send your pastor. All right. Shout out to Straight Upright Path, the Gadite in the building. Thank you so much for the donation, my brother. I appreciate that. All right. So let's get Numbers chapter 31. All right. The Israelites went to war with the Midianites. Right. But let's get to verse 21 to 31. And then we're going to jump to verse 50. All right. Let's get into this. Let's scroll down, man. 21 to 31. Let's read this. Then Eleazar the priest said to the men in the army who had gone to battle, this is the statute of the law that Yod-Heh-Wav has commanded Moshe. Only the gold, the silver, the bronze, the iron, the tin, and the lead, everything that can stand the fire, you shall pass through the fire, and it shall be clean. Right? Nevertheless, it shall also be purified with the water for impurity, and whatever cannot stand the fire, you shall pass through the water. Now, why are they doing this? If you have any gold, silver, bronze, iron, tin, and lead, and if you have anything else outside of that you can't put through the fire, that won't survive a fire, you got to baptize it. Why are you doing this? Because this is ritualistic cleansing, because these items were taken as booty or spoils of war. So you cannot touch these things and not have it purified or set apart. So they have to do this process. It says you must wash your clothes on the seventh day and you shall be clean, and afterwards you may come into the camp. So not only the spoil and the booty, but they also have to go to a mikvah. They have to also be baptized or immersed. This is important when going to war. Now let's go to let's keep going to verse 31. Verse 31. Yod-Heh-Wav said to Moshe, take the count of the plunder that was taken, both of man and of beast, you and Eleazar the priest, and the heads of the fathers' houses of the congregation. Divide the plunder into two parts between the warriors who went out to the battle and all the congregation. And levy for Yod-Heh-Wav a tribute, a portion, from the men of war who went out to battle, 1 out of 500 of the people and of the oxen, of the donkeys, and of the flocks. Take it from their half and give it to Eleazar the priest as a contribution. Now remember, tithing is part of the contributions, and we see who is head of the contributions, Aaron and his sons. Okay, so this is considered a tribute, a contribution, which is along the lines of a tithe, and I'm going to show you why this is important. Let's keep going. And from the people of Israel's half, you shall take one drawn out of every 50 of the people, of the oxen, of the donkeys, of the flocks, of all the cattle, and give them to the Levites who keep guard over the tabernacle of the Most High Yah. And Moshe and Eleazar the priest did as Yod-Heh-Wav commanded Moshe. Let's jump down to verse 50. And we have brought the offerings. Wait, hold on. Let's go up. Verse 48. Then the officers who were over the thousands of the army, the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, came near to Moshe and said to Moshe, your servants have counted the men of war who are under our command, and there is not a man missing from us. And watch this. And we have brought Yod-Heh-Wah-Veh's offering, what each man found, articles of gold, armlets and bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and beads, to make what? Atonement for ourselves before Yod-Heh-Wah-Veh. Because if you shed innocent blood, you have to pay for that. Now let's see that. Where is the precept for that, right? Let's get the precept. Here's the precept. Scroll down. All right. Now, remember this, right? Noah and the Most High, the covenant. And Noah built an altar for the Most High, it says, and took some of every clean animal and some of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings. And when Yod-Heh-Wah-Veh smelled the pleasing aroma, Yod-Heh-Wah-Veh said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of man, for in the intentions of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done. While the earth remains, seedtime, harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. Right? Let's go. And the Most High blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. The fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every bird of the heaven and upon everything that creeps on the ground and all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they have been delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be food to you. And as I give you green pants, I give you everything. But you shall not eat flesh with this life, that is its blood. And for your lifeblood, I will require reckoning. For every beast, I will require it from man, from his fellow man, I require a reckoning. For the life of man, whoever sheds the blood of man, and by man shall his blood be shed. For the power of the Most High made man in his own image. Now, slow down right here. If you kill somebody, the blood you shed is going to be required of you. So if they're going to war, just like we saw Abraham did, and the Israelites are going to the war, you have to atone for killing a whole bunch of people, even if it's harem killing, where it's a sanctified, a set apart, and ordained killing. That's the harem, is your sacrifice of bodies unto the deity for war. Yeah, your harem, that's an ancient Near Eastern Semitic cultural thing. But anyway, and I touched on that in a earlier or previous live stream. But how do you atone for killing another person? Well, you have to give a tithe or a portion of what you've taken from that person you killed in order to atone from yourself. You have to first, if it's metal, put it through the fire. And if it's something that's not metal, put it through water. Then you have to baptize yourself, right? Cleanse yourself. And then take a portion of that and give it unto a high priest so you could be exonerated for the deaths that you've killed. That money that you're giving, that contribution, is in place of you, because you need to be consumed and destroyed because you violated a universal axiom, which is thou shalt not kill. You violate that by going to war, right? Murder is premeditated. Kill is a general slaying of something, right? So in order for you to be atoned, you have to give something unto a high priest that then dedicates it to the patron deity. This is why Abraham gave the tithe to Melchizedek. Before you even jump into the book of Hebrews and read the book of Hebrews, let's get it within its context first. This is why he gave a tithe. He had to give a tithe and had to get blessed, because his blessing signifies, remember, it says victory over your enemies. The blessing signified that the Most High is going to exonerate the deaths that you killed, the people that you killed for a righteous cause. If you give a tenth, that tithe is to exonerate you from the bodies that you killed. So now when the Israelites go to war, they got to do the same thing with the booties that they take. They had to give a portion as contribution, because that is make atonement for them. That explains the Melchizedek story. You don't got to spiritualize it. Learn the culture. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I got more. Let's keep going. All right, let's stop. I want to bring up the book that I normally go to, right? The Cultural Backgrounds Study Bible that I told y'all about, that y'all need to have in your library. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna load it up and I'm gonna show you something real quick. Okay. All right. So in this book, all right, I went to Genesis chapter 14. All right, because we're gonna look at this Melchizedek thing, right? And I'm going to verses 18 to 21. Let me show it to you on my screen real quick so y'all can see it. Okay, hold on. Let me expand it. Let me show you on my screen. So again, we jump into the scriptures, to extra biblical sources, to whatever. Now, this is a study Bible, but it has that cultural backgrounds element. That's beautiful. That's lovely. You can't beat that, right? So let me show it to you. All right. All right. So don't know why it's flickering like that, but okay, here it is. All right. Let me zoom in. Hold on. Let me find out why it's flickering like that. When I shared it, it was doing that. Hold on. All right. I don't know why it's flickering like that, but let's keep going. I want to show you something in this book, right? So here, if you read this, it says that Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High Power, and he blessed him and said, now mind you, the bread and wine is significant of something, right? So he brought out bread and wine. This is to show when you dine with the priest with the bread and wine, you break the bread and you drink the wine in regards to the priest, he's accepting whatever offer you're giving him. This is customary, okay? So, and this goes to show that it was sanctioned, that sacrifice, the bread and wine, was sanctioned, what you did by the Most High, so you could be blessed because he gave you the power to get the victory, but you also exonerated from having your blood shed. All right. So it says here, and he blessed him and said, blessed be Abraham, the God of the Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hands, and he gave him a tithe of all. Now, the reason why I brought this out is we're going to click on this footnote right here. Okay, my screen is bugging out, but let's get this footnote, right? Here's the footnote. It says a tithe. Tithing, given a tenth, is known in the ancient Near East and in the Old Testament in a variety of contexts. Evidence from this ancient Near East occurs as early as about 2000 BC, where the obligatory tithe is in goods given to the temples. In this period, there's also reference to a tithe assessed by the palace. Remember, we went over that. Ugaritic text attests to grain payment tithes to the royal storehouses being made from villages rather than individuals. No text suggests a tithe of booty taken in battle. In this case, right? No text suggests a tithe of booty taken in battle in regards to the culture of Ugaritic and other cultures. But when we get to the scriptures, Israelite culture, we see something unique, that a portion of the booty is given as atonement or as a tribute to be exonerated for war crime, killing somebody. All right, this is still flickering. Let me stop it because it's bugging out right now. And simply, when you take things within its context, you understand the culture, you understand history, you put the scriptures within its context, right? When you read the whole chapter, but everything makes sense. So let's dive into this last scripture real quick. I want to get into this last scripture, the book of Malachi. So the first thing is you have to establish this tithes. When you see tithes later on, it's for other things. We see it in Samuel. We see it later on by the prophets, Nevi'im, etc. But once you establish the foundation in Torah, then you got to walk them through Malachi and explain Malachi. All you got to do is read Malachi within its context. It's that simple. Let's get Malachi. And remember the state that the people are in at this time. Okay? People are not giving their tithes and offerings, which means the Levites are not being supported. And then the third year, the people in the land, the followers, the widows, the sojourners, they're not getting no food to eat. Okay? And then when you don't give the tithe, then you're not keeping statute, law, and commandments. So let's get this and let's see what's going on here. Let's grab it. Right? Let's grab it. Malachi chapter 3. Verse 1, behold, I send my messenger, and he will prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom you seek, Adonai whom you speak, will suddenly come to this temple. And the messenger of the covenant in whom you delight, behold, he is coming, says the Lord of hosts. But who can endure the day of his coming? Who can stand when he appears? For he is like refined as fire, and like full of soap. He will sit as a refiner and as a purifier of silver. And he will purify the sons of Levi and refine them like silver and gold. And they will bring offerings in righteousness to Yod-Heh-Wah-Pheh. Why does the Levites have to be purified by this messenger that's coming? It's because they were violating everything. Then the offering of Judah and Jerusalem will be pleasing to Yod-Heh-Wah-Pheh as in the days of old and as in former years. It says, then will the offering be pleasing. Then I will draw near to you for judgment. I will be swift against the sorcerers, adulterers, those who swear falsely, those who oppress the hired worker in his wages. Because Torah culture was after somebody worked that day, you pay him. You pay him, and any collateral that you take as a impetus or incentive for them to complete the task, it must be given back to them before the day is over. So you hold it for collateral during the day, and you have to give it back at night. One of those things was a covering that you would cover yourself with, right? And we have extra biblical data of that being performed in the land before we have any written text that we have today. So we have Torah being carried out in the land that we didn't find in Torah itself. The widow and the fatherless, against those who thrust aside the sojourner, do not fear me. So those who oppress the hired worker, the widow, the fatherless, and those who are the sojourner. Well, where do you find the fatherless, the widows, and the sojourner? Oh, in the tithe. So when you're not giving the tithes to the priests, and the priests are not being satisfied with it, and then the third year you take the tithes out the storehouse, you present it to all the towns and cities to make sure that the fatherless, the widow, and the sojourners are eating. Well, the people were not doing this. See, context. The messengers coming to purify the Levites, to put the real Levites in place. We're going to keep reading so that they can do their job. So now the people, because it's a trickle-down effect, when the priests and the elite and the king are not doing their job, then it trickles down and other people don't do their job. Everything is out of whack. Everything's out of order. People are not walking in the statute, laws, and commandments. So the message has to come and pronounce judgment. Okay. Now let's keep going. It says, robbing God. Christian put that there, right? Malachi 3:6. For I, Yohewave, do not change. What? He don't change. Oh, you said you're spiritual Levites, but he says you don't change. Therefore, you, O children of Jacob, are not consumed. Who is this to? The children of Jacob. Okay. From the days of your fathers, you have turned aside from my statutes and have not kept them. What? Is this to your pastors? Then they've turned aside from the statutes. Return to me, and I will return to you, says Yod-Heh of hosts. But you say, how shall we return? Will a man rob God? Yet you are robbing me. But you say, how have we robbed you in your tithes and contributions? So, context. This is going to the children of Jacob. And it says, from the days of your fathers, you have turned aside from my statute, you have not kept them. So, spiritual Levite pastor, you keeping the statutes? No, the Lord's done away with. So this doesn't apply to you. Why are you teaching this in church? He says, return to me, and I will return to you, says Yod-Heh of hosts. But you will say, how shall we return? Will a man rob God? Yet you are robbing me. But you say, how have we robbed you in your tithes and offerings? You are cursed with a curse, for you are robbing me, that the whole nation of you. Now we go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, the blessings and the curses. Well, those curses did not just start and stop in the book of Deuteronomy. If you're not giving tithes in the way that it was instructed, and there's no priesthood that is righteous, that's collecting them, and in the third year, they're making sure that it's given to the sojourners, the widows, and the fatherless, guess what? You're going to be cursed. You're going to face consequences from that action. For you are robbing me, the whole nation of you. This has to do with the nation of Israel. This has nothing to do with no Gentiles, has nothing to do with no spiritual Israelites, no spiritual Levites. This is specifically given to Israel under the old covenant. Why is the pastor teaching this? Bring the full tithe into where? The storehouse, that there may be money in my house. No, that there may be food in my house, pastor. Well, today, food is money. No, pastor, I can go to the store and I can get you some barley and some wheat, some lamb chops and some pomegranates and some honey. I go to farmer's market and get that for you, pastor. Or I could just grow some stuff in my garden at home and give it to you, pastor. It says food, pastor. Well, you see money. It don't say money there, pastor. And thereby put me to the test, says Yod of hosts, if I will not open the windows of heaven for you and pour down for you a blessing until there's no more need. Well, y'all not getting that because there's no Levites here. There's no storehouse. There's no food that's going to the storehouse that is there for the Levites, that is then on the third year given to everybody else who has need in the land. He says, I will rebuke the devourer. You see, you have a footnote here, probably the name of some crop destroying pest or pest. Y'all's making it seem like there's some spiritual agent that's coming to eat up my money. What? I'm not lying. I had pastors tell me that. There's a demon out there that spiritually consumes wealth and that he eats up your money when you don't give tithes to the church. I had pastors tell me that. But the text within the context, cultural, that term that they would say that would use there for this devourer, right? Let's go into the context. right? This is the cow stem, nephile stem, puel, heapful, pl stem, primitive root to eat, all burn up. But here, as you can see here, let me just go back. Here is rendered, that akal is rendered as a noun, right? Ba okel, ba okel. So it's modified here. The verb is modified into a noun right here. We see that, right? So this devourer in the noun form is reckoned to be locusts, grasshoppers, or some other kind of natural pest from the ecology of the land that eats up the crops. The Most High says that he will prevent that from happening, because if you have a plentiful of crops and you're not giving the 10th, then you're not obeying the statute of commandments. Therefore, the ecology of the land, right, and the animals that live in that terrain can now prey on you. You have no protection from the Most High. It's that simple. This is not something that has to be all spiritual. Read it within its context. For you, so now watch this, so that it will not destroy the fruits of your soil. There's no demons eating up no soil, no fruits from the soil, or the vine in your field shall not fail to bear its fruit, says Yod-Heh, Waf-Heh of hosts. Then all nations will call you blessed, for you will be a land of delight, says Yod-Heh, Waf-Heh of hosts. Your words have been hard against me, says Yod-Heh Waf hosts, but you say, how have we spoken against you? You have said it is vain to serve the power. What is it? The prophet of our keeping his charge, or walking as in mourning before Yah of hosts. And now we will call the arrogant blessed. Evildoers not only will prosper, but they put God to the test and they escape. Let's stop there. Let's go into our cultural. Let's go into our cultural backgrounds, Bob. Right? I'm gonna go into it real quick. Okay. Let's go and see if we have some footnotes there for our book of Malachi. Again, all you got to do is read context. That's it. Just read the context. Read the context. Because we have not been helping those who are needy in the land. They are being oppressed by us and the churches. Now, I'm not saying that the churches are not giving, but if they're doing it under the auspices of tithes and offering, they're being deceitful. Because they're not Levites. You're not allowed to collect that. You can ask people, hey, pay dues. Hey, give donations. And we're going to take a portion of that and give it to those poor. But if you're saying that it's tithes and offerings, then I have a big problem with that. All right. So let me go here to, let's go here. Let me go to, hold on. Let's do this. I want to see if we got anything in here for that, because I haven't looked at the footnote on that yet. Let me get it. Let me get it real quick. Let's see. Let me discover it with y'all. All right. Malachi chapter 3. Let me see if we got a footnote. All right. So we got some footnotes. This is interesting. Let's check it out together. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. Here we go. So the footnote here is on 3:10. Well, let's go 3:8 first. Tithes and offerings. The tithes, or the 10th part from the produce of the land, including grain, fruit, flocks, and herds, were required by Mosaic law. The tithes were given to support the Levites as their inheritance in the return for the work that they did while serving at the tent of the meeting. The offerings may refer to the tithe of the tithe, or the tithe tax that the Levites were required to present as the Lord's offering. In effect, Malachi upbraids the people for not bringing their tithes to the temple and rebukes the Levitical corpse for not presenting the tithe tax to Yahweh on what they did receive. The promise of rainfall, yielding an abundance of food, is contingent not upon the ritual of tithing, but upon the posture of repentance that motivates the act of giving. Distinctions between tithes and taxes were blurred in the biblical world, since collection and redistribution of the resources for the maintenance of the administrative structures of society, whether civil or religious, was commonplace. The shift in Persian royal policy may have had some impact on the tithing practices of what? Post-exilic Judah. This is why I talk about pre and post-exilic. Since reforms of temple taxing under Xerxes meant a loss of revenue for temple cults across the empire, and this was consistent under their captivity. That's verse 8 that we have a footnote. Verse 10 has a footnote. Windows of heaven, a poetic expression for drenching rainfall. Y'all thinking, oh, a whole bunch of money is about to fall out of the sky for me once I give my tithe. That's not what it's saying. Every time you go outside, you get that rain, there you go, to water your crops. Because he can either, number one, give you the storehouse from heaven, the rainfall, or he can send the Gebirah, which are the pests, to eat up your crops. All right. Some commentators draw inferences regarding Hebrew cosmology from the prophet's reference to the windows of heaven. Usually, Malachi's language is understood as an appeal to commonly known features of what? Ancient Near Eastern cosmology, namely the heavenly firmament above which there is water, which may fall down through openings known as windows. And then they have articles called The Firmament, Waters Above, and Cosmic Geography. This is a must-get book. You have to get books that deal, or Bibles that deal with culture. If you don't, you're going to take this out of context. Share it with your pastor. With your donations, family, we can get one of these books into the hands of your pastor. This is a study Bible. We can get it into the hands of your pastor. So please, family, give your donation so we can help a pastor out. All right? Because after we say no swiping, we have to give him something in return. He's thinking his tithes is actually a book to read. So let's end this off. I got one more reference, and then I'm done with this. Let me move on to my second portion, and then I'm gonna end it tonight. I'm gonna keep this shorter than usual, right? I'm not saying it's the shortest, but shorter than usual. And what I'm gonna do is I want to show this to y'all, and then we're done. I want you guys to give this book to your pastor. Okay, let's bring this up on the screen. I didn't give you some great references. Like I said, some of these books that you guys can get from the Patreon. Sign up for our Patreon. You can get these books. All right. Let me show you this book real quick. All right. Where's it? Oh, this is where it is. My bad. Here it is. All right. I want y'all to see this book. Let's bring it up on the screen again. All right. It's called The Tithing Hoax: Exposing the Lies, Misinterpretations, and False Teachings About Tithing. Family, please buy this book. This is an excellent book. It's written by Christians, and I like it. Please get this book. Give it to a pastor in need, okay? Because once we start wearing that pastor no swiping shirts, that'll be an icebreaker for us to talk to Christians, okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to have all these scriptures that I have there. It's going to be right there in the shirt. We're going to have the little image at the top. We're going to have all the scriptures lined up. We're going to walk them scripture by scripture through this, right? Give them the foundation so they can interpret everything else. It's that simple. So the tithing hoax, this goes in, let me scroll through this, right? It is important that Christians read, study, and research the Bible. If not, Christians run the risk of being exploited and led astray by false teaching. Most Christians assume that everything they hear from preachers is biblically correct. However, this is not always the case. For example, we were taught that money is the root of all evil. We were led to believe that money is evil and poverty is righteous. This formed the basis of a pie-in-the-sky doctrine that promised Christians a reward after they had died and gone to heaven. We now know that this doctrine or belief system was based on a misquotation of scripture. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. In other words, greed is the root of all evil, not money. Therefore, the proper reading and understanding of the verse has helped change the negative attitude towards money. Because, you know, the scripture says that money answereth all things. Okay, it's a means to an end, as a resource that you utilize to get things done. All right, the church, by and large, no longer views money as evil. However, the changing attitude towards money has resulted in another pie-in-the-sky type doctrine called the prosperity gospel. Many preachers who teach this doctrine assert that Christians must tithe in order to receive God's financial blessings. However, a careful study of scriptures actually disputes this popular doctrine. In Thessalonians 5:21, it says, "Prove all things, hold fast to that which is good." The Bible encourages us to question what we hear and read. As it relates to tithing and prosperity, we must ask the following questions. What is a tithe? What was the purpose of the tithe? Who does the Bible say should tithe? Who should receive tithes? The early Christians tithe. Is tithing applicable to today's Christians? Does the Bible teach that tithing leads to financial blessings? If you want the answers to these questions, we must place the practice of tithing within its proper biblical context. This is written by Christians, okay, that actually study. There are two forms of context we must consider: literary and historical. Literary context answers the questions of who, what, when, where, how, and why as it relates to a particular biblical verse or scripture. In understanding a verse or scripture, we must read the passages before and after, which I did for y'all, a verse. In other words, read the whole chapter. This allows us to understand a given verse in its proper context. However, literary context alone is not enough for us to have a true understanding of the scriptures. We must also read the Bible within its historical context. Historical context takes into account the language, culture, customs, political, and social climate of the ancient world. The Bible was not written in a vacuum. I say this all the time. The biblical authors were influenced by their environment. So once we understand the literary and historical context of the scriptures, then we can determine its application. There are 3 categories of application: specific, universal, and selective. Again, this book goes hard. This is written by Christians, so they don't think that we are being biased. So I'm going to continue to read this preface and then show you some of the chapters, and y'all can go and buy it for yourself, but you need this in your arsenal, okay? Specific application means the scripture only applies to the individual or people who are addressed in the text. For example, the Mosaic law was given specifically to ancient Israel. Therefore, the Mosaic law applies to the ancient Israelites. A Christian is writing this. Universal application refers to scriptures that are relevant to all believers. These scriptures are general in nature and speak to the human condition. The book of Proverbs is a prime example of scriptures that have universal application. In the selective application process, some Christian preachers select scriptures relating to ancient biblical practice and customs and apply them to modern Christianity without any regard to the contemporary relevance of these ancient practices and customs. They also select and apply biblical scriptures according to how they fit into a particular doctrine. For example, the prosperity gospel is based in part on scriptures taken out of context and scriptural misinterpretation, especially as it relates to tithing. Selective application as practiced in this manner is deceptive because it uses the Bible to support ill-conceived beliefs, teachings, and doctrines. False teachings and doctrines regarding tithing flourish in the body of Christ because many Christians do not question what is taught. No man-made doctrine can serve as a substitute for truth. It is not enough to know what the Bible says. We must also know what the Bible means by what it says. If we desire truth, we must be followers of Christ, not followers of man. I got to tip my hat off to these Christians that put this book together because they gave it to them. It goes into prosperity gospel, a Christian lottery. Man, body bag. Rich preachers, poor Christians, right? Keeping it real about prosperity. Tithing, faith, and foolishness. Tithers versus non-tithers. Exposing the tithing hoax. Part 2, the truth about tithing. Christians were not commanded to tithe. Tithing did not consist of money. Tithing places Christians under a curse. Tithing is a rejection of Jesus to Christ. Oh, body bag. You say, oh, but Jesus did not condemn tithing. You're right. He's still under the old covenant. Remember? He was just saying, if you're going to tithe these things, don't forget the weightier matters. Right? There's other weightier matters that are spiritual that you guys are missing simply just by tithing. You think tithing exonerates you from doing any goodwill. No, it does not. New Testament Christians did not tithe. Giving replaced tithing. Part 3, the rest of the truth, Q&A. Abraham, Jacob, and pre-law tithing. They go in. Did Abram's tithe make him wealthy? If Abram's tithe did not make him wealthy, did he acquire his riches? The Levitical priests and tithes. Who were the Levitical priests? Why did the Levitical priests collect tithes? The book goes in. It goes in. Okay? So, all I'm saying, family, this is written by a Christian. Nobody can say, oh, but you being biased. No, I'm not. I'm giving you sources from Christians. This is flames all day. I did not write that book. Christians wrote it. Divine didn't make that up. I gave you scriptures. I didn't write these scriptures up. I gave you the ancient Near Eastern context so you can understand customs and cultures within the backdrop that gave birth to what we saw in ancient Israel. But then Israel developed and differentiated itself from the other cultures around them, and they had their own codification of the mitzvot that included tithe and the importance of tithes. So I don't know how much I got to give you to understand that tithing is a scam. It's fraudulent. And y'all should not be, I don't care if you're a Christian or Israelite or whatever, you should not be tithing. You can give dues to an organization as a member. You can give donations. You should not be giving tithing and or offerings. These things do not consist of money. And if you're trying to tithe money, you already violated. So all the Christians that are watching this, and if you are home, take that tithing money, put it in an envelope, video chat your pastor, say, yo, pastor, look at the tithes right here. Take it out. Do your make it rain. Say, look, pastor, the storehouse of heaven, the windows are opening up and it's raining money on me, pastor, because I'm about to spend these tithes. Praise the Most High for coronavirus, because I get to spend these tithes. Oh no, Pastor, that's the scriptures, Pastor. Oh, don't get mad, Pastor. I'm just reading the word to you, right? You believe in the inerrant word of God, right, Pastor? Okay. All right, family, I'm done beating up on them today. That's it. That's it for tonight. You have a very thorough rendition of tithing. Okay. When I say thorough, I'm talking about I'm giving you the foundation. So when you read other scriptures, you understand the foundation. I'm giving you extra biblical references. I'm giving you study Bibles. All of these things acquiesce with what I'm telling you right now. It's that simple. If Christians were just to read the Bible for themselves, not only will they understand who they are as a people, not only will they have sound doctrine, but they also wouldn't be paying tithes. It's nonsensical to be paying tithes. It's asinine to be paying tithes. It's contradictory to be paying tithes. Why are y'all doing that? I gave you all the sources. Use them. All right. So I'm done with tithing. So in case you guys want to know what divine teaches on tithing, you guys have it right here. All right. So let's move forward, right? Facts. All right. So I want to get into the next part, and I'm going to keep it brief because I don't want to make it too lengthy. But I want to talk about this because I think this is very important, and I think this is something that we should give thorough investigation to. I've done research on this. I've done it for several years. My lecture that I did in 2016 called "A Closed Mouth Don't Get Pled." I touched on some of this there, but I want to get into the term Gebirah. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let me show it to you real quick. I'm gonna bring it up on screen so you can see. All right. Now this is the female rendition of Gebirah is Gebirah. Now, why is this important? But first, before we get to that, let me show you something real quick. I want to show you this so we can get the context. Okay, let's get this right. I want to show you this. Okay, and I did a post on this as well, along with the one on tithes. But I want to touch on this just briefly because I want to give you some points of contact so you can go back and research for yourself. And when I'm on Sonetta on his platform, I'm gonna go more in depth on it. That's why I don't want to do too much. I want to give you a preview now, and then I'm gonna go in depth when I get on Sonetta's platform because I need to lay this down because they try to find weak spots or weak links in our ideology, and we have to tighten up. And I'm trying to give you all the tools to tighten up those weak links. Okay. All right. So let's get into this term here, right? Some people say, like I like to say, it's Gebirah. Some people say it's Gebirah. So you can have the bait or vate, but if you're looking at how biblical Hebrew is written, if you have the dagesh in the middle, that is your hard B. Without the dagesh, it's your V sound, your soft V. If it has the dagesh in the middle, it's your hard B sound, right? Instead of the B when it's an open bait with no dagesh, right? But I want to show you something. The root word is Gebir, and I want to show you something. Let's get Genesis chapter 29, right? Genesis chapter 29. I'm sorry, 27 verses 29 and 37, all right? And we're also going to look at a little bit of context. Let me pull it up. Genesis 27. And let's go into 29. All right. But before we do that, let's read context. Let's go. Let's go to verse 27, and I'm sorry, verse 22 for context. All right. Let me show the screen. Hold on. Let me show the screen. All right. And a lot of you already know this story, right? And Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come near that I may feel you, my son, to know whether you are really my son Esau or not." So Jacob went near to Isaac, his father, who felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. He said, "Are you really my son Esau?" He answered, "I am." Then he said, "Bring it near to me that I may eat of my son's game and bless you." So he brought it near him and he ate. And he brought him wine and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come near and kiss me, my son." So he came near and kissed him. And Isaac smelled the smell of his garments and blessed him and said, "See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field that Yod-Heh-Wah-Veh has blessed. May the power give you of the dew of the heaven and the fatness of the earth and the plenty of grain and wine." Now watch this. Let the people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. Let's stop there. The key word we're looking for here is this term here, this term for Lord. Let the people serve you and the nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers. Okay, so let's go down. Right? You see this word here, Gebirah, right? Your Gimel, your Beit, your Yod, your Resh, right? And you have your Shewa underneath, your Dagesh in the middle of your Gimel, and your Hirik underneath your Beit, and it's an open Beit, right? So as the soft B sound, Gevir, right? Gebirah. So when you have the suffix, right, at the end, that gives you your feminine attribution to the word, okay? So he says, be master. That root word, Gebar, means mighty, right? Mighty man. Gebir means mighty man. Goes from the word that might or strength, right? So when you have a Gebirah, that is one who is mighty over others. So we have the Torah right here, or the book of Genesis. We have this as the foundation. Now, it's talking about the masculine. So when you deal with the feminine, that's what it deals with. Now, you don't have that word malakah or malka. You have that term malka there, right? You have that term isha there. But when it's talking about certain women in the royal families, they're given the term Gebirah. So Gebirah is the feminine form of Gebir or Gebir. It's interesting, but it's one who has might, or a feminine mighty one that is over others. Okay. Now, in a strict, pure patriarchal society, that cannot exist. To have women over men. But in a society that is mostly patriarchal, with certain instances and exceptions of matriarchal, now we have some balance there. Because sometimes women have to be used to put things in order. Now, when you look at the ancient Near Eastern context, and you're looking at what's called a Gebirah, or a queen mother, that's what they call her, or the feminine mighty one that is over the house or over the peoples, she has power over peoples that's subjugated to her, right? The only one she submits to is the king. So the king marries the woman. The king marries the woman, and then they bear a child. And typically women outlive men because men go to war. Men are more stressed. Men got to go hunting. They may die in hunting accidents or whatever the case may be. Men are more prone to disease than women. Okay, so you had cases where the wife would outlive the husband, or the queen would outlive the king, and there will be royal seed that's birthed, but may not be old enough, so that the mother, what she does, she's the interim ruler. Okay, that's when she gets that title. She's the interim ruler, where she is, teaching the young one the Torah. That's deep. I went over that in other lectures. She's giving him the Torah, the instructions on what to do within the boundaries of protection of the father. Okay, that's something y'all go back and look that up. So now the mother, the queen mother, she is the Gebirah. She is the mighty one that is over others, even men, not just women. Now, we have an example of one of these, Athaliah. And in her case, she was considered wicked because she tried to kill off all the royal seed so she can stay in power. But Joash was kept by the sister of the king, and she hid him for 6 or 7 years until he got old enough. And then they did stage a coup, right? And then Athaliah, she got killed, right? But she reigned for 7 years as the mighty one over the peoples. She was an actual queen that ruled over the people. See, with Deborah, it was a little bit different because she was a judge, and the judges typically had one of the highest offices. And then you had these somewhat kings like Barak that went to the judges to know how to act. Samuel was also a judge. He was the last judge. And Deborah had to be raised up because it was weak men. And the Most High used her to speak to Barak, but she was not given this title. It's different because it had nothing to do with royalty at that time, right? Pre-monarchy. So I'm giving this to you to go back and research this because this term is extremely important. Now, if we continue to go on in the book of Genesis to verse 37, right? Let's go to verse 37. Isaac answered and said to Esau, behold, I have made him lord over you. This is Isaac talking to Esau. I have made him lord over you, a mighty one over you, and all his brothers I have given to him for servants. You see what's connected to that? Over you, servants. Over you, servants. I have given to him for servants, and with grain and wine I have sustained him. So sustenance comes along with that. So the Gebirah is very distinct because she is over everybody. She submits to the king. Everybody else is under her. The king can override things that she say if the king is there, but the king is gone and she's the only one there. She rules everything until the young prince, the Tsar, is old enough to become king or coronated as king. We had this in Israelite culture. This is not nothing that is unique to Israel. It's also in the ancient Near Eastern context. It's in Egyptian culture, Babylonian culture, Sumerian culture, Akkadian culture, Assyrian culture, Hittite culture, Canaanite culture. We see it all throughout the region. Israelites do not live in a vacuum. So when we have Israelites today that pump their chest, say, yeah, this whole book is patriarchal. I said, slow down, son. You're not really understanding everything you're reading. Because in a pure patriarchal society, you have what's called a collateral heir. What is a collateral heir? A collateral heir is a family member outside of the direct descendant who is supposed to receive the inheritance. So if there's a son and he's the direct lineal inheritor or benefactor of the land, of the crown, of the throne, but he's killed off, like we saw in the case with Athaliah, and he's killed off. If the people was really purely patriarchal, they would not let a woman rule for 6 to 7 years. They would have gotten a collateral heir, which means a family member outside of that son, a cousin, a brother, or uncle, right? A male cousin, a brother or uncle, and they would have staged a coup or coup d'etat. They would have got rid of her and they would have put one of them in the place. Because look at this. What would have happened? Because remind you, remember where Athaliah is from, right? That was a union between Israel and Judah. So you had the intermarriage union between Israel and Judah. But the important thing we have to see here is if she would have stayed on that throne and she would have, let's say Joash did not survive, she would have ruled until she died. And then what would have happened? You'd have to find somebody who was the next in charge. But if they were purely patriarchal, then what they would have done is stage a coup, got a collateral heir, put them in place of her. And that person's lineage will continue. When you look at Omri and what Omri done, the Omri dynasty, that's what he did. So what I'm simply trying to explain to you, because of that title, they respected the title because it was something that was part of ancient Near Eastern culture. Now, we're not here to say Athaliah, by her killing off the royal seed was a good thing and her serving Baal. We're not talking about her character. I'm talking about the title. Because you have wicked people that have righteous titles. And even though people don't like the wicked person, they respect the title. I'll give you an example of this. When David was dealing with Samuel and Saul, he didn't kill Saul. He had opportunities to do that. He would not touch the anointed king of the Most High. And when he found out that he was killed, like after he was wounded and somebody killed him in battle, they killed that dude because he said, how dare you put your hands on the anointed? So even though Saul was wicked, it was the title that was respected. Even though Athaliah was wicked, it was the title that was respected. But once they found that the heir, the direct lineal heir, was alive, now they had the power to rebel against us. And now it's like, look, the heir is still alive. You told us he was dead. So now we can revolt against you. And then she was killed or persecuted, or she was put to death. So what I'm simply saying is, in a strict, pure patriarchal society, you don't have Gebirah. You don't have Gebirah there. That title should not be there. But it exists, and we have an example of somebody that reigned for 6 or 7 years without no coup being staged against her, no collateral heir being put in her place. None of that. They respected the title. Everybody served under her. Whether she was good or bad, they served under that title. That's why that title was used, and it's called Queen, Mother, whatever. It's the feminine mighty one that others are servants under. And when you go back to Genesis, it gives you the context. It's the stories in the book of 1 Kings. I'll show it to y'all. Bring up 1 Kings, right? Let me bring it up in 1 Kings for y'all so y'all can see it. So it's going to be, I'm sorry, not First Kings, Second Kings. Second Kings. I'm saying First Kings. Must be tight. Right, here it is right here. Now when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the royal family. But Yehosheba, the son of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him and put him from among the king's sons who were being put to death. And she put him and his nurse in a bedroom. Thus they hid from Athaliah so that he was not put to death. And he remained with her 6 years, hidden in the house of Yod-Heh-Wapheh, while Athaliah reigned over the land. Why? Because she was considered a Gebirah. So here's the context. 2 Kings chapter 11, verses 1-3. In a purely patriarchal society, you wouldn't have this, because in other societies, some societies, they allowed the king to rule, which means it wasn't a purely strict patriarchal society. In other societies they did the things that I told you. They gave it the rule over to a collateral heir, or there will be a coup will be staged to get the woman out of power, and then they will reign there. But they have places like Hatshepsut that's in ancient Egypt, and she was allowed to rule. But what did she do? She put on the beard of the pharaoh, the headdress of the pharaoh. She looked like a pharaoh, a male pharaoh, in order for her to rule. I wanted to summon this in a previous lecture that I did. But I'm bringing this information out to tell us that we need to have careful observance when it comes to this, because when you look at people from the Kemetic community and they say, well, queens reign, we can say, well, we had a queen reign too. The Gebirah, that title was reserved to the queen mothers. And we had one that reigned. We even have Deborah. She wasn't even a Gebirah, but she was in places one because the king took advice from her. And she was the judge over all of Israel. You don't have this in strict patriarchal societies. Israel is a major patriarchal society, mostly patriarchal society, but there are some exceptions when things occur. But if they were purely, strictly patriarchal, there would either be a collateral heir that's male, or there would be a coup d'etat that's waged. It's that simple. So I'm sharing this with you guys to be enlightened so you can understand how this information works. So you can be well thorough in this knowledge. Now, let me give you some sources, because now when we want to talk about women in ancient Near Eastern context and in Israel and in Ugaritic, which is another West Semitic society or whatever, let me give you some book references. And again, sign up for the Patreon and you can read these books for free. Let me give you the Patreon on here. All right. And I'm going to tell you about the giveaway before I go on Patreon. Right. All right. So this, let me show this to you. I'm going to give you some references so you can go back and read some books. All right. Now, first, Liz, I want to give you this article, excellent article that I read. I'm rereading it again. Let me show it to you on my screen. Right. The name of it is called A World of Possibilities, Jerusalem's Women in the Iron Age, 1000 to 586 BCE by Beth Alpert Nakhai. Right. Please download this. You can get this from academia.edu. And you can read this article. It's an excellent, excellent article. I recommend it. The other one here, this one is called by Martel Stoll, Women in the Ancient Near East. Again, this book is available on our Patreon. You can get it at no cost. Here's another great book that I'm going to put up on Patreon today. And it is called Women in Ugaritic in Israel, Their Social and Religious Position in the Context of the Ancient Near East. This is a must-have. You must get all of these books, okay? And read this article. And there's actually more articles, tons more articles that's written on this subject matter. So you can understand the role of women, and even the highest role, which is the Gebirah, which is the highest title that a woman can have. Even the Malka, it's even higher than the Malka, because this person can rule and reign in the absence of the king. The Malka was a I would say a substitute title for the Gebirah, and I gave you the context for it. Okay, so that was all I had for y'all tonight, family. Okay, again, thank you for watching. All right, again, please, y'all can feel free to pledge on the Patreon and get access to this content. All right. So you guys can just read. If you got time on your hands because of the shelter in place to stay at home, I'm giving you opportunities to read here, right here. is the link for the Patreon so you guys can pledge. Also, if you guys have a giving heart and you want to give so that other families can benefit during this economic crisis, here's a link right here to the GoFundMe. Please give there as well. The descriptions for the Truth of Yah board game, for the Flatten the Curve face mask, and for Mr. E's Remedies, it's all going to be in the description. So you can click on the links in the description and patronize. And the last thing is, those of you who are looking for ways to get maybe small supplemental income, please get the Dash app. And I told you all about this before. All right, it's DO $H Dash, right? DO $H. That's it right there. You want to download that app and you want to install it. It's free. You don't pay nothing for that app. And the importance of that Dash app is that it allows you to get cash back. So as you're shopping online or in person, you connect your Dash account to your debit card, you make your purchases, and they give you free money back just for using your card with all the affiliates and patronizing those vendors. You get money back. You don't have to pay a dime setting this up. It doesn't cost no money. You get free money back. So for those of you that want to sign up for this, I'm going to give you my referral code. My referral code is Ron S35. Okay. When you get that referral code, I get $5. You get a referral code, you give it to somebody else, and then you get $5. And then as you use your debit card that's connected to Dash, you make cashback purchases. All right. It's the same way if you had your own debit card from a bank. This way you can get this without having a bank. You can get a prepaid MasterCard or Visa card from a CVS or Walgreens. You can load it up, connect it to the Dash account if you don't want to connect your own personal account to it, and then use that to make money. Get a prepaid card, sign up with Dash, take that prepaid card, make expenses with it, and get money back on it. My referral code is right there. And again, that will also be in the description. This is the way that you guys can also make money when you get your referral code. All right. So one hand washes the other, both hands wash their face together, because one good turn deserves another. All right. So I know I was going to extend it to a open panel or a Q&A, but I'm going to cut it short, family. Under 3 hours. All right. I'm going to go back live on Monday, like I said, because we got to go over the Passover unleavened bread. There's a lot of questions about that. So I'm going to do a quick teaching on that, and I'm going to take questions and Q&A on that. And then our Passover starts Tuesday, but then the meal is eaten on Wednesday during the twilight hours before evening. All right. Before the Feast of Unleavened Bread begins that evening. We'll go over that on Monday. All right. So with that, family, I want to thank everybody for rocking with us to 2:53 a.m. in the morning. I hope y'all got everything that you wanted and more from this lesson we did on tithes and talking about the Gebirah, right? The Queen Mother, or the Feminine Mighty One title. I think these are things that are very informational, right? And why I showed you that I use extra biblical data and references to substantiate the things that I teach, because you need 2 or 3 witnesses to establish a word. So that's what I'm doing, getting 2 or 3 witnesses to establish what it is that I'm telling you. So it's not just my interpretation of the text, my opinion. I'm giving you other sources that validate and substantiate what it is that I'm saying to you. And this is the same way we have to treat the scriptures. Okay. It's set apart, and we cannot make it do what we want to do for deceitful purposes. Yah will not honor that. All right. So make sure you give this to every Christian you know, a loved one that you know. Give it to them. We're going to have the Pastor No Swiping shirts up soon with these scriptures on it. So you could be a walking advertisement for this teaching. And then you can use that as an icebreaker to help your family and friends get out under the auspices of saying that they have to pay tithes, which links them to the actual old covenant. And then I gave you a book made by Christians that you can also give to them called The Tithing Hoax. Y'all definitely purchase that from Amazon. And that'll be it. So family, on Monday, I'm going to have a gift card giveaway on Monday. It's going to be a $25 Amazon gift card. So make sure you'll tune in Monday evening so somebody can win that gift card. And we're trying to get 100 patrons. If we get 100 patrons on Patreon, we're going to give away $100. Okay, so please, family, help us get more people to sign up and pledge for this Patreon. Tell them how awesome this Patreon is, the benefits that come along with this Patreon. Okay. And then once we do that, we're going to put everybody's name into another lottery, and whoever wins, we're going to give them $100 for us reaching 100 patrons. All right. So you get a free $100 just by signing up and getting others to sign up. Get us to our 100 patrons mark, and then everybody will be entered in for $100 winning. And we're going to have 2 winners. We're going to actually give away $200, $100 per person. Okay. So 2 winners, not just one this time, 2 winners on our Patreon, we're going to give away $200 once we hit 100 patrons, right? We're going to put everybody's name in the lottery. We're going to do 2 drawings, and each individual is going to get $100 just because y'all helped us to get to 100 patrons. All right. So we want to put that on the table so you'll know it's a way that we're giving back for you supporting us. We never want you to do anything for us for free if we can help it. All right. So family, thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all. Much love, peace, and shalom.